Oh yeah! Isn't that a tune? Good old Pixies. YouTube is a bit of a debaser, don't you think, guys? Thanks, Jamie. Hit that like button on the way in. TFI Saturday, everyone. How are we all? I don't know what to talk about. It's been so quiet on YouTube lately. I can't think of a thing of interest to talk about. But yeah, it'd be good to hear from some of you guys about anything in particular that peeves you off about YouTube, what goes on YouTube. Because we all know, I don't know why it is, but it can be sometimes more enjoyable to vent, than talk about fluffy, happy things. None of us would ever read a novel that was a honeymoon from beginning to end, would we? So yeah, this is the place to come and vent, anyone, if you're partial to venting. Hi, pretty ladies. Helen Happy Thoughts can think of a few things. Yeah, so if anyone wants to ask me about anything, then it's not really my fault if I bring certain things up, right? Jamie's heading to the beach tomorrow. I am so happy today, but let's talk about liars on YouTube. Yeah. What is it about YouTube that brings out the worst in most of us? Present company excluded, because obviously you guys being here are all perfect human beings. Goes without saying. Hi, pretty ladies. Probably will, Helen. Yeah, that reminds me actually. It's come to my attention that one of my faults on YouTube apparently is my gender. God damn. Well, I'm not changing it, so we're perfect up in here. You know it, Michelle. Casbat's not perfect, but you enjoy your imperfections. Yeah, joking aside, anyone that presents as perfect or, you know, pristine clean, be very, very wary of. Because more often than not, behind those pristine masks is something rather ugly and dirty. Filthy dirty. Just filthy. I love us for our flaws, Evie. It's very interesting that some people seem to feel that any flaws are, well, I guess it's a weakness, but I guess the key thing is acknowledgement. How can anyone improve as a human being if you don't even acknowledge shit? It's interesting that some people seem to think that that's a weakness. Florida Grey Lady says, I am flawed and my demons love me. Well, you know that all the good music is in hell, so. The thing is about religion, the way some people present religion. God, if they truly were in touch with God, and that's a representation of God, then I'll take my chances down below in the fire with all the good tunes. We do. We stay exactly the same. Oh, hang on. Helen acknowledges her narcolepsy. She's come to terms with that. Helen is basically the opposite of myself. I've always been a night owl, and I will especially be a night owl tonight. There's a big boxing match on tonight, which I might try and stay up for. Megsy covers your Megsy covers her flaws up with YouTube. I'm perfect on here or not? Hey Buttercup, Paige and Dante, polar opposites, right? It'd be pretty boring if we're all the same. So I'm asking if you guys would like to share anything in particular that you hate about YouTube. But you can't really do that if I don't put the link in chat, right? I think Cheryl is going to be joining us at some point, hopefully. And I shall pin that. Hey, stand up, how are you? Moving house on Wednesday, and I'm going batshit crazy in the chaos. It's one of the most stressful things there is, moving house. No doubt about it. I do too, yeah. Seeing someone getting their ass handed to them when they deserve it. Yeah, there's something rather delicious about that. People losing channels left, right, and center pisses me off. Yeah, that annoys me as well. The way that when people describe, how a big bad channel that they don't like has been terminated from YouTube, as if the channel was terminated by God himself, as if it's not possible that, someone might not deserve to literally not be on YouTube. YouTube is a machine. It's very rare a human being is making a decision on here. Oh, hey, Meg. You hear me?
Hi, am I blocked? Sorry, am I muted?
No, I can hear you.
Uh, it's just early here, that's all. It's Sunday morning,
You're
8:30.
you're in
I'm
Australia,
having a
right?
sleep in. Yeah, I'm having a sleep in, mate. Things I hate about YouTube,
Go for it.
darling. I don't come on here a lot. I catch up every couple of weeks, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know whether what chat I'm allowed in or not. Like, have my friends fallen out or my friends haven't fallen out?
Hmm.
And then
Yeah,
I go into a chat and everyone goes, "What? That's Megsy. What's Megsy doing here?" And I think, oh shit, has somebody fallen out with somebody like
yeah.
Jura and Sagacious Angel fell out the other week. So now I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't know whose chat I'm allowed in.
It's a
Do
nightmare,
I
isn't
go
it?
into Jura's or do I go in a Sagacious Angel chat? Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Well,
all.
one of the
Yeah, but
one of the
you've got to keep up with it all, mate.
well, you can't keep up with all of it, right? There's only a very few
Mm.
channels that I watch, but what you're describing is tribalism, I guess. And it is actually quite natural to feel loyalty to certain communities, but once
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
but once people start, you know, paying too much attention to who's in their enemy's chat, then obviously perspective is getting lost somewhere down the line, right?
Yeah, so just go wherever you want. I think
Well,
I'll just wait for them. I think I'll just wait for them to make up because I think they will.
yeah, I don't quite know what happened there. Something about Juror is friends
I
with
think it was
Amber.
that. I don't think it's Amber. It's that cunt Jamie. You know what I mean?
Oh, you're not
I
allowed to
think
say that
he's a
word.
bit of a.
That's a bad word.
He's in Australia. You do, yeah. Well, he's a bit of a fuckhead. You know what I mean?
Well, see, I've not seen Jamie lately, but I spoke to him years ago in here, and he was fine to me. He's he's
Yeah.
a smart guy, but
Probably because you're a boy.
I know there's a lot of
You're a
drama, but I'm
boy.
just not aware of it. I am a boy, but that seems to be a problem on here. I'm hearing.
Oh yeah, he's pissed everybody off, man. But anyway, I'm going back to bed. I just went to pour another coffee. Oh, listen, that was my whinge and bitch for today.
Yeah, well, I hear you.
That it's just what I hate about YouTube is, yeah, I jump on every couple of weeks, and all of a sudden people are falling out, and I think, oh my god, should I go in and say hi? So I just don't bother anymore.
What to do is go in both chats, go in Sagacious, go in Jurors, and the first one that moans at you, then you will know which one you should be in.
we're the first one that has a bitch.
Right.
I don't think either of them would have a bitch at me, but I just feel uncomfortable, you know?
Yeah, it doesn't have to be the channel creators though. Sometimes people that are associated with channels may not like it, so there's that issue. But you just
Yeah,
you
true.
just do what you want. Do what you want. Go where you want.
Well, I will, darling. It's Sunday morning
Uh
and
huh.
it's brilliantly winter here, but a winter's day is 27 degrees here. So I'm going to get out of bed about 9 o'clock, have some waffles, and go to the beach.
Nice.
So I'll listen to you until then. But yeah, I
All
just
right.
wanted to put my input in. All
No.
right, sweetheart. I'll talk to you
All right.
later.
All right, Meg. Take care.
Bye bye.
Bye. Jamie says, I don't like being judged a hater because I disagree with or opine on creators. Hmm. I think like I speak about this a lot. There's something inherent with how YouTube and all social media operates. I think it tends to encourage the certain traits in us that would perhaps already be there, but less likely to be drawn out, I think, in the real world. There's the temptations on YouTube are a problem, I think. For instance, the temptation to be impulsive. Um, if there's something we all love about a drama, right? And if there's some drama happening, and you get caught up in the moment, there's a temptation to be impulsive and show your support to either the channel creators or people that they might have invited on panel. Um, it's that natural human urge to feel a part of what's happening, part of like a community. Um, but as a result, you may stick your foot in your own mouth, right? Because there's a temptation to be impulsive, and then you feel like an idiot 2 or 3 days later when someone turns out to not be quite telling the truth. Yeah, Revi, Juror and Sagacious have fallen out. Yeah. I'm sure they'll be okay. I'm sure they'll fall back in again. But another problem, another obvious problem with YouTube is how it feeds upon jealousy. There's nothing wrong with envy. You know, it took someone recently describing the vital difference between jealousy and envy to me recently. And I'd never really thought about it that way, but it's so on the money. Envy is actually quite a positive trait. It's quite, you know, you can feel envious of someone you'd admire and you want to emulate in some way. That's positive, right? But jealousy seems to incorporate this desire that the person that you should be envying, you don't want them to possess what they possess. You want to have it all for yourself. It's a vital difference. Susie says, people need to remember this is YouTube. People take this way too seriously where it affects their real life. That's exactly correct. It's a problem with perspective. If you're on YouTube every single day for 3, 4, 5 years, how can it not affect your perspective? It has to. There's no way it can't. Hey, Cheryl.
Hey,
How are you?
I'm good.
Good, good.
I was trying to watch the chat while I was finishing up what I was doing. Gosh, there's so many things to add to the list of things to hate about YouTube. People have some really good stuff going on in the chat.
Yeah. So we've got jealousy.
Yeah.
And what else did I mention?
Lyndon said, "What I hate about YouTube," and this is one that I was thinking about earlier. Hate about YouTube: people will double down on their lies, and when someone proves they're lying, that person is painted as a hater. Yes, yes, we've seen that recently, haven't we?
We have in great abundance.
Great abundance, yeah.
Some people, I kind of mentioned this earlier, some people seem to think it's a weakness to acknowledge a mistake or a fault. You know, I really don't get that.
I don't understand that either. It's I don't know. It to me it's not very hard to just go, wow, I fucked up. I am so sorry about that. And then even if you still you can go, but I was still right about this or whatever, you know. But if you make a mistake, just friggin' own it. Just own it's not that hard. It's really not.
Yeah, and then there's
It's an insecurity thing. It's an insecurity thing. They think that people are
is.
going to look negatively on them because they showed weakness by apologizing. Where, you know, isn't that one of the first things we teach our kids when you do something wrong? If you hit your brother or your sister, you're supposed to apologize. I mean, that's a thing, right?
Yeah, it is. It's quite
Casbat,
an important thing.
Casbat had a good one too. I'm trying to find it. Um, something about don't believe everything you hear. Um,
Mm.
you know,
Yeah, the conspiratorial aspect of YouTube.
well, you know, the trust but verify. You know, there's nothing wrong with that. You know, and even in, you know, some of the smaller groups that I'm in with friends, it's not that I don't believe them when they come and tell me something, but it's like, oh, well, what's the timestamp for that? Where did they say that? You know, and there's nothing wrong with that. But some people just run solely based on because someone told them. And that's dangerous.
It is. There's another problem, which we were speaking about actually privately. The difficulty sometimes in being objective when you have a natural affiliation to a certain group or a certain channel.
Yeah.
That can be difficult for all of us at times. But that's so important to at least attempt to be objective.
Yes. there's so many fine lines around that for me. I try to be objective, but because it's YouTube, nobody wants to go out and publicly, call out a friend publicly. So you try to do it privately, going, whoa, wait, that's not cool. Maybe we shouldn't do that, and da 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 da. But ultimately, people are their own people, and they can go out and do and say things. And you still want to be supportive of your friends, but if you can't support what they're saying or what they're doing, it makes it really difficult. And I think that's where separations may happen because of that. So I mean, I've seen it and I've been a part of it before. And it's really difficult because you want to support your friends, but if it totally goes against something that you don't agree with, it's really hard to do that without, like I said, publicly calling them out, which nobody wants to do that to a friend, I don't think.
Yeah, because loyalty is a great trait in and of itself, right? But it doesn't have to be exclusive to objectivity. It just might alter your public utterances, right?
Right.
But loyalty is a great thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Evie says some people have a more close-up relationship with some creators and they see the creator's true self. Then you're unlike heck. Yeah, it's that whole thing about perspective again. Barcop, I do not agree in any way about taking a creator down. YouTube is a huge place. If you don't like a creator, there's so many more, so just move on to another one. Do not agree with cancel culture. No way. Yeah, it can be a slippery slope. That's the problem.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that because there's enough room for everybody, obviously. I mean, as far as taking certain channels down, I can't say that I don't. I believe that shouldn't happen. I believe that there are some very dangerous people on YouTube and other platforms that should not have a public platform to spew the stuff they do. But those are not. Definitely not in the drama shit. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking more in the true crime stuff. But yeah, I agree. And the people that I'm talking about is watching what's been going on with the two main creators, the kitchen lady and that and the other one. There's enough friggin' subs, there's enough people, there's enough content that the one in the kitchen doesn't need to be going after. And I've heard both sides of the story. I've seen a lot of stuff from both sides, and I'm sorry, you're wrong. You're wrong. Just go do your kitchen thing. Just do your kitchen thing.
Yeah, is it the kitchen lady or the lake lady? Don't know if she's in transition.
But I think there's like a French. Was it French? Oh, maybe it was Sweden. I watched this series like years ago. It was like The Lady in the Lake or something like that. It was kind of like a horror TV series or something. So I don't want to call her the Lady in the Lake because that just seems creepy. But yeah, I don't understand. And then I think that kind of led me to agree with Lyndon there when she was saying that people doubling down on their lies. I mean, it was pretty much in black and white what I saw. So I didn't quite understand hey, don't look at that. Look over here. Let me show you. Okay, I get it. You want to out stuff too, but you still didn't own up. You didn't own up in the private chat when you realized you made a colossal fucking mistake. Mm-hmm. And even after that, you didn't own up. I don't understand that.
Yeah.
I don't know about everybody, but I have a lot more respect for people that can just say, I fucked up. I did. I made a mistake.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't think of any creators off the top of my head that have never at some point in time acknowledged a mistake on here. Other than one.
Is it that one?
Yeah, it is that one, yeah.
Oh, okay. Because I mean, like I said, I've only been watching for a short time, so what did I just Susie see? The loon of the lake.
The loon of the lake.
Well, she did say that herself. She says, now I'm going to forever be known as a lunatic or something like that. And I'm thinking, well, maybe you should have just owned it.
Like MRB, you cannot defeat the world. That's the problem. It's actually sad to watch it, to observe it, you know. And it's so clearly affecting her right now.
Oh, J May said it. Sorry, I want to give credit to the right person. I do want to say something else that I saw, and I feel this way too all the time, but I'm also not a creator. But my first thought is, it's just fucking YouTube, people. It's just YouTube, right? But technically, for some people, it's not. This is their job, and it's yeah. And sometimes I need to step back and try to remember that people use this as an income. To supplement or for a full-blown income. And I get that. But, having, you got Kmart and Walmart back in the day, they were the two competing ones. And, sometimes they throw, or Pepsi and Coke, and they kind of throw some shade each other's way a little bit. But for the most part, you don't focus on the other one. You focus on your own shit. Marketing, sell your product without trying to downsell. I think Burger King and McDonald's probably do it a little more often, but even they do it kind of in a humorous way. But you don't go straight in talking about, all the health reports and stuff that have been done by Burger King, McDonald's, like, don't eat there, blah, blah, blah. You just focus on your product and you build your product. And I'm seeing one particular one having difficulty doing that.
Yeah. If you ever want to get wasted, take a drink every time someone says they want to punch someone in the face or get something wrong in the private chat. Sanderella, I haven't seen any rebuttal from MRB after the messages came out about the lies. I'm sure she's trying to spin it. Yeah, she just basically ignored the fact that she acknowledged privately that Natasha was not talking about her son, and then just tried to kind of change the goalposts and say, well, actually, if you go way, way back prior to this, she was coming after me back then. It's just ridiculous. Hey, Michelle. Then you tell them they were not screenshots, and they're like, duh. What excuse do you have now? Buttercup says, Rabid, I hear all about your time on YouTube and your mental health long before you came on here. I don't think you should have been a topic if you left because of how you were feeling. Are you referring to something that MRB tried to portray?
Oh.
Is that what you mean? Yeah, I'm going to be addressing that.
Are you doing that today?
I could do, but I suppose I could.
Well, you know me. I'm all for, like, just run in, just run into the fire. Figure out what to do once you get there. Yeah, that's infuriating. I mean, up until now, I've been kind of tempering my words and how I'm describing certain things. But when we get to that topic, I probably will not be able to do that because that's just, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, well, I brought it up now, so I think I will. Christina says she has changed it to Robbie in the bathtub. And oh my god, yeah, showing screenshots where Natasha has a smile on her face. I mean, sorry, that just doesn't cut it. Hey, Tracy. You think I should? Okay, well, I can blame you guys then, right? Okay. So I was going to leave this for another time, but I think I have a right to address this. So prepare yourself for this. If anyone's willing, if you've got a notepad, see if you can count the amount of times that I am called an abuser or a women abuser. Just out of interest.
Rabid Dog, I am not envying you. A man that can't even come on a panel and show his face. I'm not envying you. I don't want to be you. I don't want to be someone that has to hide. I don't want to be someone that abuses women. I don't want to be someone that calls people the C word. I don't want to be you. You don't impress me. You are an abuser. You have abused me and you've abused other women. You've abused them, calling them those C words. You've called me those C words. You made a video calling me those C words. You are an abusive man, and I am not big mad. I think you are an abuser. Not big mad. Don't want to be you. Wouldn't want to be you at all. Okay? Nothing about you do I want. Okay? Nothing. We're not big mad about you. You're an abuser. You're abusers. That's who you are. You're abusers. He's abusive to women. He is abusive. You're an abuser of women because you've abused me. Rabid Dog.
And they are blaming the victims.
That's the type of abuser you are, Rabid Dog. You are an abuser.
Yeah. He was bashing Shanann, yes.
Oh, he was bashing Shanann.
Yes,
abuser.
He did that.
I've called you abusive. Rabid likes to degrade women.
He uses the C word.
Here's Rabid Dog. The woman abuser has spoken to me. Rabid Dog, the woman abuser has spoken to me. You abused me? Thinks he's so... Oh, Sarah Boone.
No.
Oh, I can't wait for that case. I'm such a knowledgeable expert on it.
But nobody's watching. It's
echo chamber.
I never watched
echo chamber.
Videos. But who's going to watch these videos?
Chamber. Victimology. It's just the victimology. Just doing the victimology. I'm not bashing Shanann. I'm just doing victimology.
So you know it, Maya.
I'm not making fun of deceased victims. I'm victimology. Just victimology. That's all it is.
Yeah, exactly. That is what he said.
Echo chamber.
You remember that? Yes. Yes. He said that. Who's going to watch that? Serious.
Rabid Dog.
If you cannot laugh at that, then you've got issues, right? So that is only a short edit of, I think it's just 2 lives that she did. That was like 25 times she called me either an abuser or a women abuser.
And did I understand that right? That the only thing that she's actually coming was because you called her the C word?
Yeah, so for anyone that doesn't know, so I think it was about 18 months ago, someone that I was affiliated with did a video dragging Merb, and she used the C words multiple times. And I edited that video afterwards and beeped out the bad C words, and then I played it on my channel, and obviously I used the C word in the title. Now I've already acknowledged that was a mistake. It's not my finest moment, and I actually apologized for doing that prior to Merb having that flip out there. But so you've got that, and then because I was on Diane's channel with this same person, and we were having a regrettable kind of public moment, and it came out that I had once used the C word in a private conversation. May have been her snowflake confused mind, or rather more manipulative mind, seems to think that ergo that makes me a woman abuser.
She doesn't get out much, does she?
Well, no, clearly. But
I mean, if somebody, I'm just saying, if somebody calls you the C word on the internet and that's what you classify as being abusive, maybe you need to get out of your fucking kitchen a little more then. I have no doubt that this woman has been called a hell of a lot worse to her fucking face at the PTA meetings and shit. Because I don't believe that she hasn't pissed off a whole lot of people if she acts anything like she does online in real life. Just saying.
yeah, it's just silly. What she was upset with is because I left a few comments and I said that she was dangerous. But I gave my reasons for it. Like,
Yeah.
that's just an opinion, right?
And see, that's the other thing, and that goes back to, I think, because I was kind of listening while I was finishing up what I was doing, but you were talking about, you being a man on this platform. That's the go-to. And Cassius is in your chat. He said he's listening. That's the go-to is, if you're a man and you say something, then you're being abusive to women, which is, we talked about this on Salty's panel, last week, the week before. That's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous to try to shame you guys into being quiet. Like, because you're a man, you don't have a right to voice your opinion. And if you do, then you're being abusive to women. And it's just bullshit. And we talked about this also, that Cassius gets that a lot too. I mean,
yeah, you were telling me that. You were telling me that. I think almost every guy seems to get something like that on here.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't change my gender, people, okay? I'm interested in true crime and I'm interested in talking about, the human condition. So this happens to be the community that I'm in. I can't do anything about the fact that 99% of the people on here are female. I guess I'm atypical. I'm not into motor cars or motorbikes. Okay, that's just not my interest. But you cannot use my gender as a pejorative in an argument. Okay, address what I actually say.
I don't think that she's capable of that, at least from what I've seen.
But let's just think, let's just sit and think about the big bad C word here. Over here, I mean, it's not a word I use very often, okay? I can assure you. But I don't believe that there's not a time and place for any word in the dictionary. Every word has its place. But let's just think about it a bit, right? This is the definition in the Oxford Dictionary. I've covered the bad word in case anyone faints in chat. So it's a vulgar slang. So what do you guys think I was meaning and the other creator was meaning when they used that word about her? Do you think they were meaning a woman's genitals or an unpleasant or stupid person? I think you're an unpleasant person, nerd. Okay? So that's why I use that vulgar slang. That does not make me a woman abuser or an abuser. Makes you a snowflake.
No. Are you there?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, sorry, I was on mute. I'm just gonna. I want to find because what I just played there was kind of all cut up, right? But just to get the context of this, I'm just gonna play it in full.
What's with the numbers in the chat? What did I miss?
Let's have a look. Third wave feminism, i.e. no abuse on any person by another person. Just saying, MERP. Welcome to 2023. Yeah, what's the numbers for? Try to find it. A life rewinded.
I don't like the way she treats her husband. Oh, Rebby. Yeah. I mean, I've had 2 of them, and speaking to them in that manner was never the reason why either one of them is no longer current. So let's just say I would never do that. They're just, again, just what she puts. There doesn't seem to be a mutual level of respect, which is kind of cringy. But on the other hand, hey, it's their relationship, and he seems to be okay with it. That's on him.
Oh, the numbers are for the definition on the on the dictionary.
Oh, I missed that. I missed that.
Yeah.
Will you put it back up?
Yeah. Yeah. Number 2. Obviously, I was saying she's an unpleasant person. Tell me why you're not. Tell me why I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Don't cry about
Well,
a word.
since she likes to use your guys' cuss words, because we don't say shite or arse over here. We don't. So she likes to use your guys' cuss words. So we'll go with your definition of a cunt then.
Right.
Christina, why do people say to grow balls? Balls are weak and sensitive. I say grow vagina. That thing can take a pounding, Betty White. Oh, that's funny.
Okay, I didn't actually intend on playing this today, but where is it? Okay. All right, let's watch this and commentate.
But it is
What
just
is this?
relentless abuse, and that
So this is just from 2 or 3 of her lives.
Okay, got it. Sorry.
it's relentless abuse and that kind of stuff right there. See, they don't understand. If they understood defamation, they would know what defamation is. Defamation's not an opinion. Defamation is when you are trying to destroy someone's character by tweeting 200 times a day, stuff like you're tweeting with the statements you're making.
Or how about calling someone an abuser or a woman abuser about 40, 50 times in public? Because that's quite a kind of specific criminal
Yeah.
thing, isn't it? A woman abuser.
Yeah, that's kind of a defamation thing, right?
Right.
She's defaming your character based on what?
Nothing.
And that one live that we were watching that one time, she was going to show some video or something from 2019 or some shit like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, where she was basically, it sounded like she was kind of mocking, I guess, I don't know what word, if that's the right word, mocking Natasha for showing a chat from 2021, like that was so long ago, right? But she wants to bring up something from 2019 for you, but that's okay.
It's very interesting that she didn't play it, though. I think she just wanted people to believe that it was something that it wasn't, because the only aspect of that she could ever use is the fact that Emily said that I used the C word in private, but there was nothing abusive going on that live. It was just a unfortunate, regrettable decision, right? That's all it is. So play it. I don't mind you playing it. It's fine. I'd rather you didn't.
And that's kind of the thing too. I haven't seen what she's talking about. I guess it was on some other creators panel or something. But you've explained it. you've explained your thought processes at the time, and you've explained, you know, how you feel about it and your regrets and blah 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 and blah blah blah. So how's it going to hurt you? And if it was on a live, it's not like it's a super secret thing. I mean, there's a lot of people clearly that were here back then that saw it or know about it. So it's not like it's, you know, breaking news. So
no, it's not. It's nothing,
you know,
it's nothing that dramatic. It's just unfortunate.
She's just mad at the world, I think. And looking at some of those text messages that Natasha was showing, she's pretty mad because her business has tanked. Well, maybe she needs to stop and think, why? Why has it tanked? I know she wants to blame the algorithm because of all the hate channels and Natasha and all this other bullshit. But if you really had a solid channel and you had a solid community built on your own content, it wouldn't matter what the hell they're saying over there, right? Again, Burger King, McDonald's, Coke, Pepsi, do your thing, and it wouldn't affect you. But she seems so fascinated with like how many people, how much money Natasha's getting. It's like she can't get out of her own way.
And this is the thing. This is the key thing that she doesn't comprehend, and she never will comprehend it because it will be she'll just not be able to swallow it. But it's pretty damn clear to me that she genuinely just cannot conceive that she's in the wrong at any point. Like everything is a projection, right?
And that's a huge personal flaw. I mean, I don't, that's not a flaw you just have on YouTube. That's just a flaw that at her age, she should probably, you know, do some serious internal reflecting and work on that. Work on that.
Because it's not as if she's in the wrong all the time. It's her nature that just seems to turn people off. Even like recently there was a bit of drama and she was actually in the right in that, okay? She's not always in the right, obviously, but it's very interesting that she still comes across so hateful, and it's down to your nature. It's a horrible thing to say. It sounds horrible, but that's what it is.
Pity you don't know that.
And he's decided, you know, he's
Listen to how patronizing she manages to make this here.
going to come in and call me out.
Call me out? Me? The nerve of me to call me out.
You're going to call me out? What?
Call me out? The notorious MRB? Who do you think you are, young man? I have to say, I'm actually missing the tiara. I want to see the tiara back now. Personally.
No, I don't.
Thanks, Mr. Abusive to women. But don't worry.
Not worried. Really not worried.
Rabid Dog, I am not envying you. A man that can't even come on a panel and show his face. I'm not envying you. I don't want to.
What's that?
I was just mocking her. A man. A man.
A man?
You're a man. Did you ever say, I meant to ask you this. Did you ever say, you just want to be me, MRB? Did you ever say that? Why does she keep saying, I don't want to be you? Well, first off, I don't want to be anybody but me anyways, but I definitely wouldn't want to be you because you're a man and I don't want to be a man. So why does she keep saying that? Did you ever say something alluding to?
No, it's never crossed my mind that Mer might want to be me. Never.
Well, Now I'm starting to think if that's the case that, she doth protest too much. Why does she keep saying, I don't want to be you? Why would you even say that? Of course you wouldn't.
Well, she doth protest too much. And let her continue.
She may want to be, okay, I'll leave that for the next discussion.
Hey, Larney.
Hey, Larney.
Can you be him wearing that crown? Oh, this is another thing, guys. I've got something to hide because I don't come on camera.
Well, I have some ideas about that.
Oh, do you?
Well, I mean, if you just look at it from not some middle-aged woman sitting in her kitchen with her family getting ice cream every night or whatever the hell they're doing back there, she kind of sounds, she kind of sounds like I think she has like a cougar crush on you. First off, she wants to dissuade anybody from even being remotely whatever with you by and don't let his accent do anything for you. They all talk like that in Scotland, basically. So in the olden days, going to the bars, it's basically, that's kind of like a version of peeing on you to kind of get the other people away. Hey, his accent doesn't mean that much. It's not that big of a deal. Don't pay attention to that because, people give you compliments on your accent. What's the point? What was the point of that? I have no idea. To try to.
I think Merb's got a little girl crush. I think you like me, Merb.
Yeah, and I don't know if you have that sound bite where, I don't know what that version was when she's talking about echo chambers and victimology and Sarah Boone, but that's kind of creepy. I'm just saying, it's kind of creepy. I don't know what effect she was going for, but it didn't come across well. Just saying. So yes, I do think maybe she doesn't want to be you, but maybe she wants to be with you. She wants you on camera because she's dying to see what the hell you look like. I don't know.
My picture's been in critical K. Bless her.
Maybe she missed that.
She put it all over her chat.
Maybe she missed it or something. I don't know. It's so weird. There's a lot of creators that don't come on camera, and I get so sick and tired of people digging at creators who don't come on camera like that means anything. First off, we all know the internet's not the greatest place to be, and some people have some very valid reasons for not wanting to put their face out there. They are usually the same people that don't put their whole damn lives out there in public display, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with it. It doesn't mean they're hiding anything. It just means they're being protective or they're being private.
Yeah, I probably will come on camera at some stage when I feel like it.
Oh, you could do they do that on TikTok or something? I don't know. Do they do that on YouTube? I know they do it on TikTok. They do big face reveals.
Yeah, that'll not be happening. You'll be tempting me with that fish. Oh, like the eagles. Yeah. Oh, God. Her explanation or her justification for the feeding the eagles was so typical of her.
Oh, yeah. So I don't know how many Americans you have in your chat, but when I told you about this, when I heard about this, I just cringed. I cringed from everybody knows. And yes, MRB, what you were doing technically is called baiting. You can say you were catching fish and throwing them back in, but we all heard you. We all saw what you were saying. You were technically baiting fish. Or baiting fish, baiting the eagles with the fish. You can't do that. They're bald eagles, for fuck's sake. And you sitting there and say, oh, I called the police and they said I wasn't doing anything wrong. Well, if you say, hey, we're just catching some fish, and then if they're not the right size or what we want, we just throw them back and then these eagles are swooping down. No, that wouldn't be the same thing. But that's not what you were doing. And we all saw that. It's so friggin' illegal. Everybody in the U.S. knows that, especially people your age should know that, for Christ's sakes. You're not allowed to even have one of their feathers. If you find a feather in the woods and it's an eagle feather, you are not even allowed to have that. That's illegal.
She just does not give a fuck. She's like an elephant just, bulldozing her way through a china shop.
Yes.
In life in general.
Because rules don't apply to her. She's something, and I heard her say too, if you Google it on YouTube, there are thousands of videos with millions of views of people do it. So that doesn't make it okay. Especially when you have so many people that don't like you, you don't think that shit, again, I don't know. Up here, even though they're federally protected, our state fish and game are the ones that, arrest you or give you the citations and shit like that. I don't know how New York works, but I know up here, I've known people that have gotten in trouble for that shit. It's very, very tightly watched. So I'm just saying, maybe you just shouldn't. And you shouldn't act all high and mighty, because you might fucking get knocked off that soapbox of yours right there. Acting like, I called the police. They said we were doing this legal. How about you just don't? Just don't. Because there's a law against it. And since you can't seem to understand that it applies to you, just go on the safe side and just fucking don't. There's a reason they're protected. Leave them alone.
Just because you can work out that you have officially not done anything wrong by some interpretation of some law, it doesn't mean that you're not an asshole for doing what you're doing.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, where I like to go here in the summertime, tons of eagles, because it's a big fishing town. And I was telling you, like, the eagles literally just line up all along the spit, on the lamp poles, on the roofs of the little buildings, because when the fishing boats come in at night and they're cleaning the fish at the fish cleaning tables, they'll throw the stuff into the water, but they're not specifically throwing it in for the eagles. They don't, because if they were, they could get fined for it. They can even get arrested for it. I mean, they're really, really, especially the boat captains and the boat employees, they're really, if there is an eagle like super close, not high up on one of the light poles or something, then they don't. They put them in a bucket and then they wait till later that night, and then they'll dump it back in the water for the other fish or the birds or whatever. But if it could even remotely be construed that you were trying to bait an eagle to come get this, yeah, that's bad. That's just bad.
It's just this entitlement. It's like when she goes to the beach to get all her shells. She has to get about 40 buckets worth of shells without a thought. Because it's her. Because she's the notorious MRB, the celebrity in her own mind.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And again, so who just said that? Clippy is here. The eagle thing was infuriating. It just moved on me. They have to have laws protecting eagles because of stupid. Exactly. I think somebody said something like, it's something to the effect of basically, you're feeding them, so they're not going to be doing their own hunting. I don't think that she's going to be feeding them that often to do that. But the point is, there's laws, and the laws are very, very specific. There's no, vagueness about them. You're not allowed to do that. And again, like I said, if she called the cops, I will guarantee she was saying, we're fishing and we're just doing catch and release. We're catching them, we're throwing them back. And then sometimes when we throw them back, the eagles will swoop down and take them, and they'll be like, well, that's okay. But that's not what you were doing. And we all saw it. We all saw what you were doing, and you talked about it.
Yeah.
Again, laws are there for a reason, Miss Tight Pants lady. Like, everything has to be, you can't say the C word, everything, pearl clutching bullshit, everybody mind your P's and Q's. Can't even say ass, you have to say arse. But arse. You're gonna be out there doing videos telling people basically to shut the hell up. You'll do what you want when it comes to the friggin' eagles, when, like I said, everybody, and somebody said you guys have bald eagles in the UK and they're protected there too.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody knows this, but you're special. Come on.
Mm-hmm. That's
I was just trying to think, I'm actually, what I should have said is like a tightwad. She's a tightwad when it comes to her money and her morals. I was on a roll. I didn't know what to say. Anyway.
Susie says she wants me in her kayak. Well, I wouldn't get in her kayak, but I might take the plug out of hers. What did she blame Evie for, Casper? My God, she does not like you and Evie, does she? I mean, just
Her boys were learning about nature. Well, why don't you teach them the fucking laws about the nature when it comes to the bald eagles in the United States and how they're protected? And the specific laws about them. You want to teach? That's fine. Teach them about nature. Watch them. Watch what they do. Watch them hunt on their own. And if they don't happen to see it, then they don't happen to fucking see it. You don't bait them, though.
they whistled at the eagle, so yes, it was baited, says Michelle. All right, from eagles to women abusing.
Oh, yeah, sorry. I got sidetracked. The eagles really pissed me off.
Be you. I don't want to be someone that has to hide. I don't want to be someone that abuses women. I don't want to be someone that calls people the C word. I don't want to be you. You don't impress me. You are an abuser. You have abused me and you've abused other women. Okay? You have.
Yeah.
I've heard by their own mouth you've abused them, calling them those C words. You've called me those C words. You made a video calling me those C words. You are an abusive man, and I am not big mad.
What is she doing with her hand there? What is going on there? What is that?
You are an abusive man, and I am not big mad. I think you are an abuser.
What is she doing there?
Anyone? Is that some Italian mafia thing that I don't know about? What is that?
Did she put is she putting a spell on me or something? Some sort of voodoo. I've got to go. I've got to watch that again. It's so strange. I've never seen anyone do this.
You are an abusive man, and I am not big mad. I think.
It's like she makes her hand into like a T-Rex hand or something.
and then big mad. I'm not big mad. I'm not big mad.
Only Merb would be capable of not realizing that by changing her panelists' names to not Big Mad RD, not Big Mad NC, you're just advertising how triggered you are. Because the reason she did that is because I was streaming her, and I think Natasha might have been streaming her on Twitch at the time. But the only reason I was doing it is because she was threatening to play myself and Emily on Diana's channel. So I was like, obviously I'm going to stream it so I can address it. So I had Big Mad in the title. So she thought by changing the name there on screen to not Big Mad RG, yeah, that's going to work.
Where's she, Buttercup? Oh dear, could she be one of the aliens walking amongst us?
What's that?
No, Christina, I am not okay. I am literally dying. Oh, can you play that just one more time?
One more time?
Yeah, one more time.
Those C words. You made a video calling me those C words. You are an abusive man, and I am not big mad. I think you are an abuser.
Oh my god.
That is the weirdest damn thing I've ever seen. Oh, jeez.
Okay, we're going to have I have to do this now. We're going to have a small intermission, everyone. So please, on your knees.
What?
What? On your knees, everyone.
Oh, shit. This just got weird.
Yeah.
I'm gonna need a minute.
Okay. Are we ready to soldier on here? There's something she says later on that really genuinely pisses me off, which I'm obviously going to address. It's not all kicks and giggles here. Our Lady of Perpetual Victimhood. The victimology of MRB.
Oh,
Not big mad, don't want to be you, wouldn't want to be you at all, okay? Nothing about you do I want.
How do you know? Not even a little, nothing at all you admire about me in any way? Am I that bad? I'm better on Jimmy at guitar, Merb. I know that. I can sing it.
well, after you just accused her of putting a curse on you, you might be that bad now. You might be.
Yeah.
And we're laughing about her weird hand things. We're probably all cursed now. Damn.
Okay? Nothing.
We're already damned, and you know it.
Yeah.
We're
We'll
not
get a party bus.
big mad about you. You're an abuser. You're abusers. So
Yeah.
you are. You're abusers.
I don't. Yeah.
A certain guy.
So, Merb, you're going to have to come up with something actually tangible. I challenge you to come up with something tangible that merits you calling me a woman abuser. Okay? Because the fact that I used the C word doesn't make anyone a woman abuser, okay?
No.
So try harder.
I can't stop calling women the C word. Abuse.
Can't stop calling women the C word. She knows of one time.
To women.
I've called her at least 2 or 3 times now.
Well, you're obviously a woman abuser as well.
I'm
right?
a woman abuser too, yeah. Yeah,
Goes
I
without
guess.
saying.
Okay.
It's extra bad because I'm a man.
Yeah. Yep.
He put these
Well, it actually is slander, Sarah. It genuinely is.
quotes up, and he thinks he's a philosopher. People have told you they liked your accent, that anything you say is immediately taken as the gospel truth. Well, it's not. And we know how nasty you can be to women, right?
Nasty.
Was totally degrading and calling women that, and even got called out by the host for calling women that C word, but that doesn't stop him.
That doesn't stop him. He just can't stop himself.
What a horrible person you are. You just, that C word just goes flying out of your mouth every time that you open it. You gotta stop yourself. Wow. You're an awful person.
He's abusive to women. He is abusive. You're an abuser of women because you've abused me. Rabid
Yeah,
Dog.
and they are blaming the victims.
That's the type of abuser you are, Rabid Dog. You are an abuser.
Yeah, he was bashing Shanann. Yeah.
This idiot, Jeanette. I don't know where she's heard that I bashed Shanann. I don't know where Merb's heard that I bashed Shanann. She went nuclear because she heard that I was on Critical K's panel. And I know some people are not a fan of Critical K, but I was actually relatively supportive in I was defending Shanann at the time. Now, granted, as time went on, I made some admissions about Shanann's character, but that doesn't make me a victim basher. Only in your cartoon mind, okay?
Well, if it makes you feel any better, I don't think MRB takes her very seriously either, because she just keeps talking over her every time I've seen her on panel. She just talks over her like she's not talking, so she doesn't even take her seriously.
No.
Yes.
Oh, he was bashing Shanann.
Yes.
Abuser.
He did that.
No wonder I've called you abusive. Rabid likes to degrade women.
He uses the C word.
Oh, he uses the C word. Absolutely. He thinks he's so, Sarah Boone. Oh, I can't wait for that case. I'm such a knowledgeable expert on it.
But nobody's watching. It's
Echo chamber.
I never watched
echo chamber.
videos. But who is going to watch this video?
Chamber. Victimology. It's just the victimology. Just doing the victimology. I'm not bashing Shanann. I'm just doing victimology.
So you know it, Maya.
I'm not making fun of deceased victims. I'm victimology. Just victimology. That's all it is.
Yeah.
What the hell was that?
I don't know.
Again, I think she has a cougar crush on you.
Just send flowers, Merb. It's a lot easier.
It's okay. It's okay if you have a crush. That's okay. But you don't, you know, we're not like 7 years old. You don't have to pretend like you hate him.
Yeah.
You don't have to do that. It's all right.
Yeah, she's doing that old game, you know, where you kind of push them away to test them. That's what's going on.
Yeah, the whole like victimology, echo chamber, and closing her eyes is like that. Did she should probably watch that back because that's just creepy. That's creepy.
Yeah. Well,
I don't know what. That's why I said I don't know what she was going for. If that's what she thinks you sound like, because I don't think you sound like that at all. I don't even think. Anyways, I don't know what she was going for. That was ridiculous. Unless she's just, it's her way of trying to, butter you up and whisper sweet nothings in your ear, maybe. Victimology. What's with the echo chamber shit, too?
Yeah. I genuinely would like to know when I last used that term. It is a term I've probably used before, but I swear to you, I can't remember saying that for a long time. I don't know where she's gotten this from and why it upsets her so much. I probably described her channel as being like an echo chamber, but I can't remember when.
Well,
That
it made an impression on her, apparently.
Apparently, yeah.
is what he said.
Echo
You
chamber.
remember that? Yes. Yes. He said that.
Listen to Jeanette. Yes, that's what he said. Does anyone really think Jeanette has watched me? Come on.
No.
Going
I want a quotation, Jeanette.
to watch that. Serious.
Echo chamber.
You know what? Rabid Dog. Oh, you know that guy from Scotland? Oh, that you just want to read the dictionary? You want to hear this guy from Scotland read the dictionary? He's behind the Hell to the No channel.
That didn't age well, did it?
No, it didn't. You'd play that again, please.
To be fair to her, I think what she means is that there's a whole group of people kind of behind the scenes with Hell to the No helping her. I think that's what she means when she says behind, but I thought she was always claiming. She said this about Hello Starlight all the time, that she was Hell to the No, or she was behind Hell to the No. So I don't know what she's meaning by that, but it sure sounds like she's saying that, people are actually Hell to the No. She was convinced the Bitey Cat was Hell to the No for a while.
I think that's when I started listening. I've heard the Hello Starlight mentioned, but when I started watching, it was Bitey Cat every 3 words out of her mouth. But then she claimed you and
Casbah and Evie.
Casbat, yeah.
She seems to think that Casbah and Evie are behind another clip channel somewhere. That came out there in her.
Like the clip channel that she was on.
Oh dear, who would have thought? Squeaky Clean Merb had a clip channel.
Which, hey, no big deal, except for when you want to try to dog on other people for having clip channels. Then it kind of looks really bad.
Yeah.
What? Rabid Dog? Oh, you know that guy from Scotland? Oh, that you just want to read the dictionary? You want to hear this guy from Scotland read the dictionary? He's behind the Hell to the No channel. He's with them. And on his channel, he is promoting the very channel that has those pictures of Frankie up. And he is promoting a channel that is making fun of Sandy. The same person that called me a CUNT Rabid Dog. The person that put out a video calling me a CUNT.
Okay. So what she's referring to here is that I shared a video from a creator called well, I shared a video of another creator. It's on my community post if you want to go and check it out. And the point of the video, it was a clip of Sandra Ruchek. And there was just something about her tone and her language that was very, very reminiscent of MRB. That's why I shared it. And you can see that in the comment that I put with the community post. She seems to think that this creator is a victim basher as well. I don't trust her information there. Let's just say that. But that's what she's trying to use there to get people to believe. Just nonsense.
Yeah,
Hey,
because
Solly.
those buzzwords that seem to get people all worked up. Victim basher, victim blaming, and again, you're never. It's basically blasphemy to mention the Ruseks in any sort of negative light. Oh, clearly across both our communities. So yeah, well, shut the fuck up.
Yeah. Yeah, I just don't worship at the altar of victims as a kind of some sort of golden rule. Sorry.
You know, just because somebody is a victim doesn't mean that they cannot be a good person or be a bad person. And it's not like, again, it's not like this crime just happened. And there's a lot of history between a lot of the different channels and stuff like that. And if somebody happens to play a clip of somebody saying things that just kind of sound ridiculous, then hey, you know, it's their own words. I mean, it wasn't a made up story. It was that person's own words in that clip. And you can judge it for what it is, but you know.
Yeah.
But that doesn't make you a victim basher at all. That's just stupid.
I hear you, Jenny.
What?
I hear you. Jenny says, little Frankie grow up and get a job and grown-up name.
Oh, hey, Salty.
The abuse of a crime victim's family, of a woman that was brutally murdered. She was pregnant and brutally murdered. Her children were brutally murdered. And Rabid Dog is promoting a channel that is abused.
Just think about what she's attempting to do here. She's trying to attach me to a narrative of bashing victims.
Can I just say something? I mean, out of all this time that I've been watching her, I haven't heard her mention the one person over in that other community that we've worked really hard to try to get to shut the fuck up. Armchair Detective or Dave, whatever his new channel is, you know, or Miss Mensa. There's a lot of channels who have said what I consider horrible things about the victims. But she wants to go for you because you shared a community post of somebody that actually had a recording of Sandy's own words. Really? That's where she wants to land on? Seriously?
Yeah, there's plenty of people over on that side of YouTube that have a legitimate reason to be critical. I know that might be hard for you to comprehend or digest, MRB, but it's also hard to comprehend why you let your jealousy of Natasha drive you insane. Why were you insane? Like, I don't think Natasha's known in any capacity as being a problem for the Rucheks. Armchair Detective is. Now, whether you agree or disagree with the reasons behind that, he is the one that Frankie is trying to hold accountable. Officially.
He's the one that Frankie is actually has a lawsuit against.
Right.
Even though, I mean, there are other ones too that are just as bad. You know, like I said, there's that Dave from Australia guy. I don't know what his new channel is now. I mean, there's several of them, you know, and Frankie has a legitimate lawsuit towards AD. So why are you pinning everything on this?
Right. There's other creators as well that are known as being controversial, shall we say, on the case. You know, Miss Mensa is another one. She did have a go at Miss Mensah years ago, but like you say, it's very
But why
suspicious.
Natasha?
Why
Why
why is it Natasha? Yeah, if you're
Because
such a
Natasha,
bastion.
Natasha's her competition. It's Burger King and McDonald's. It's Coke and Pepsi. It's Kmart and Walmart. AD isn't her competition, so she doesn't care. So this, and I'm not going to use that phrase that everybody likes to say, but this outrage towards Natasha based on what she supposedly does or doesn't do and how she affects or doesn't affect the family is all bullshit. Because if you really had that much compassion for them, you would actually focus on the ones that they actually focus on. No one's taken Natasha to court yet. As far as I know, there's no court case against her, but there is against Armchair. So if you were really disgusted by people talking about this family in a negative way, why don't you ever talk about? But Natasha, that's different because Natasha's her competition. Again, she's not marketing herself very well. She's not focusing on her own product. She's trying to distinguish the other product, thinking that that'll make her win. And it's not. I mean, I would guess to say if Natasha did disappear tomorrow off the friggin' internet, her subs are not going to come to you. You're not going to get them. You're just not.
That's the sad thing. All her efforts are wasted because her ugliness is on display for everyone to see. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
Even just observing her channel and her panel, they sound terrified to even to say a word. You know, in case it's the wrong word. Solely.
Yeah. Rabies. Sherlock. Yeah, I love that. Yeah. So again, people don't like her because they don't like her. People don't like Natasha because they don't like Natasha. It has nothing to do with you convincing them. It has nothing to do with her convincing you. They're just, you both are so different that I don't even understand why she's making a competition out of this. There is no way somebody can like both of you at the same time because you guys are both so different.
I promise you, Megzy, she is jealous of Natasha. But you're right about the hatred, but I think the hatred came from the jealousy.
Well, yeah, did you see in those chats how many times Miss, Prim and Proper, Curl Clutchin' PTA member person wanted to punch her in the face?
Mm-hmm.
Which, hey, I talk like that all the time. But you don't. You don't even say ass, for fuck's sake. But
yeah.
You were constantly, 3-4 different times you want to punch her in the face? Man, that's not very Christian-like, is it? Just saying.
Yeah, I think it feels like she's so far into it now. I can't see how she can ever back off. I think she just overestimated herself, thinking that Natasha's just beneath her. So, I'll take Natasha out. Well, it's never going to happen.
I mean, I can understand the hatred. I have felt that way for certain people on this platform, and that's what I've always said. It's a good damn thing I don't have a channel because I probably wouldn't have it for very long. But just stop. Just focus on you. You have what's that right there? The best community on YouTube. Focus on your community. Focus on your seashells or whatever the hell you're doing. Your napkins. I've heard so much crap about this napkin stuff. Focus on your community. Focus on what you started doing here. And stop focusing on somebody who is nothing like you, is totally different than you.
Yeah. I knocked her crown off. I stole her crown. Yeah. I'm missing the crown, I have to say.
I think you insulted it, and that really, she got a little butt sore about that, maybe. She made fun of her crown.
She did. She did pick the wrong person. Clearly, Helen. My God.
What'd Helen say? She picked the wrong person. Yeah. I don't know. I've watched some of Natasha's stuff, and I'll just say this: I don't know a whole lot about Natasha's history before all the stuff that I've been watching on here. But from what I've seen, most of what I've seen from Natasha is her responding to your lunacy. Your batshit crazy stuff. You said it best in your own text. Now you're going to be known as the lunatic. Yes, you are, because that's how you act.
Yeah.
So stop acting that way. Take a Valium. Take a night off. Have a drink. Say a cuss word. It might make you feel better.
Yeah. Say a few cuss words, Merv.
Yeah, just
let your hair down.
Throw some ice in a glass very violently, pour some liquor in there, and say, fuck, fuck, fuck. And I bet you by the time you get to your chair, you'll feel a lot better. I mean, it works for me.
Yeah, live a little.
Live a little. Okay, maybe fuck is a little too much right away. Don't come out with that. Maybe start with shit. Just say shit. Shit, not shite. We don't say shite here. We don't. So stop. Just say shit. It's okay. We saw you cuss a couple times in those chats, so you can type them. Just say them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she was jealous of Jules in the early days. No doubt about that.
Oh, did she have the same thing with that person? I've heard of that person, and she was on your panel, I think, once.
Yeah.
Oh, was it this bad?
Nothing has been this bad, no, but it was pretty bad.
Oh.
Tracy's asking, who did the crown first, MRB or Critical K? Well, obviously, it was Critical K. Then Natasha did it, and Merb comically thinks that she's mocking Natasha by doing it, but she's given that up for now.
What? She started arguing over whose shows or who? What?
Oh, I can believe that.
Yeah, Christina, there you go. Oh, what's that?
Right.
Paisley. We all know, absolutely proof. Yep.
That's what I mean. People, you'll be surprised how forgiving people can be if you just acknowledge mistakes.
Where'd Christina's comment go? There. Shit and a wine cooler. Yes, I bet you. You'll feel so much better. You don't have to make a habit out of it if you don't want to, or go to church on Sunday and do whatever you do at church. I don't know, Catholic or something you do, whatever. It's okay.
I feel a kinship forming, a bond between yourself and Christina. You seem to be on the same page a lot.
Again, there are certain people that come to your chats where I think that we're like a separated siblings or something, because we seem to think a lot alike. And Jenny Barnes is another one that.
Oh, Jenny's here.
Yeah, she usually, like with the true crime stuff, she usually says a lot of what I'm thinking.
Jenny is very smart. Very smart.
Oh, Christina, the starter. We'll help you. We'll assign people to mentor you through this. Again, there's a reason why guys that are, well, and women too, that are doing like major weightlifting and stuff in the gyms, that they scream when they're lifting up those really heavy weights, they grunt, and sometimes they even fucking cuss, and because it helps. We'll mentor you through this. We'll help you.
Lyndon says, in my opinion, she thought Natasha should bow down to her, and when Natasha didn't, it pissed her off. And the greed monster had only grown since then. Natasha doesn't bow down ever. Yeah, it's not a war she can win. I think she knows that deep down, I suspect. I mean, Natasha, she just doesn't have this certain. It's not that Merb has no talent or no skills or anything, right? She's a smart person, but she just has a different set of skills to what Natasha has, and this is just not her. Like in boxing, you have different weights and things, right? This is just not her league. Like you were saying earlier, just concentrate on your own shit.
Well, yeah, like I said, they're two totally different types of creators. Totally different, you know? And that's why I said that they're probably not going to be a whole lot of overlap as far as subs go, because they're two totally different types of creators. Like, some may enjoy watching her, but really, they engage more with Natasha's, or vice versa. But so trying to take her out isn't going to do anything. It doesn't mean anything. You're different. Just focus on you. It's really not that hard.
Yeah.
Unless you have some sort of condition where you just can't stand the fact that somebody you think might be one-upping you.
Mm-hmm.
Which is that's an ugly, ugly character flaw.
Yep. Yeah.
Is it any wonder he was so happy on the Critical K panel? Is it any wonder that that's who he was? Is it any wonder?
Carolyn, Liz Top says she wanted you to see her comment. I'll read it to you. It's further up. She says, shit, I'm Scottish, but he is a disgrace.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's a disgrace.
Okay, I didn't know if you saw that. Okay.
He is a
Listen to this shit.
disgrace. He is a disgrace.
And guys, everything I've showed you here, the majority of it was all in one live, and then there's a little bit from this other live.
But wait, why are you a disgrace?
Oh, she's about to tell you.
Oh, okay.
Oh, do you mean for being on Critical K?
Oh, maybe that's why. Okay,
What?
a disgrace? A disgrace?
That's just part of my charge, but she'll
Wow.
tell us why here, I guess.
Okay.
And there's a lot in his background, let me tell you.
Really, Merb? Really? Okay. This is where you cross the line, Merb.
I'm Scottish, but he is a disgrace.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's a disgrace.
Okay, I didn't know if you saw that. Okay.
He is a disgrace. He is a disgrace. And there's a lot in his background, let me tell you. Let me tell you.
Hey, really quick.
Mm-hmm.
So Tracy's asking, how long ago was this live? This was just like a month or two ago, wasn't it?
No, this was just like a week or two ago.
A week or two ago. Okay. Just wanted to give context to it.
Tracy, I wouldn't be surprised, but I welcome her to do a background check. I welcome her to do it. You can get my details on my channel. I dox myself.
Hi, Jamie.
And what about Ireland? What about Ireland? Did you forget, Rabid, things you said before? Did you forget? Because the internet doesn't forget.
Okay, Merb, you need to back this up now. I don't know what you're attempting here, okay? But there is nothing in my background. There is nothing about Ireland. She alludes to trying to get people to believe that I said something about Ireland when I was on Diane's channel. I'm trying to Huh?
Is that what she's alluding to, or is she alluding to that whole shit that you doxed yourself for to prove wasn't true?
Well, this is the thing, right? She's obviously, like, Merb has her people, right, that report back to her. So I'm sure
only Natasha has those people, according to NRD. Only Natasha does that.
Oh yeah, I keep forgetting. But yeah, she's obviously heard something. You know how Merb says this phrase about a little bit of knowledge is dangerous? It's very true, actually.
It is. Well, that's why I'm just wondering, when you did that whole live to explain that whole shit,
yeah.
When you doxed yourself and everything, I wonder if that's what she's alluding to.
Well, she's very slyly trying to connect it to something I maybe said on Diane's channel.
Oh, okay.
So for anyone that doesn't know, I lived in Ireland for 10 years, and then I came back to Scotland.
Which is why you sound different than Cassius.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
But I maybe, do you know when you first come on YouTube and you're a bit naive, obviously, and you have to, you have to be careful about how you phrase things, I guess. But but with that naivety, you know, you might be a bit clumsy with your words. I think what she's trying to use here is that I mentioned that I had a bad breakup when I was in Ireland, and then I lost my job, and then I lost the owners of the apartment I was living in. Decided to sell up. It was one of these situations where like domino effects, where everything just went wrong. So I maybe alluded to that or described something about that. So
you're the only person on the internet that's gone through a tough time in their life, you know, because you're not 20 years old. I mean, I can never remember how old you are, but you're not 20. So you had a tough period in your life. Like,
yeah. But this this comes back to why I describe her as being dangerous, right? Because she's capable of this kind of thing. Because, and think about the reason behind why she's doing this. She hasn't one time addressed anything I said about my opinions or my criticism of her, okay? She's only called me an abuser, a woman abuser. And here, she's trying to get people to believe there's some kind of dirt because she's heard that I had to address some defamation from Dorothy, who found an article about someone with the same name as myself in Ireland and tried to claim it was me, and it obviously wasn't me. So I doxed myself. I recorded my call with the prosecuting sergeant, put it all out there on YouTube. But she may have a memory of me mentioning going through a tough time in Ireland. And this, I think, the way she says it here makes me think that she maybe believes there's something in it. You know, did you forget, Rabid? Well, I've not forgotten anything, Merb. And I'm inviting you to tell us what you're basing that on. I want some kind of receipts for your statement there, because that is slander. It's not as slanderous as calling me a woman abuser, because that's really a criminal phrase, right? But
it is dangerous. It is dangerous because she's putting these innuendos out there that leave open-ended, but leave it, you know, making it sound like there's some darkness to it, right? So of course, you know, and then after calling you a woman abuser 20,000 times, it is. It's gross. It's just gross.
It is gross, but it's also, you know, I guess the title of this is Things to Hate About YouTube, right? And this is one of the things that people have a limited concern about the truth, you know, when they get into these feuds and arguments on YouTube. And people like Dorothy, she's still around, Tracy, and Merb are capable of this kind of shit without a concern for the truth. So if any Merb's people are in here, go and ask her to back up what she just said there, because I can assure you she won't be able to do it, and tell her that that's actually slander. See what she says, and invite her to actually try and address my actual points.
What'd you say about Ireland, Rabid Dog? You forgot? You forgot on Diane's channel? Let him remember, Al. Let him remember.
Go and find whatever you think you're talking about here, Merv. Go and get it. In fact, I'm friendly with Diane, so if you give me a reference of a live or a video, I'll get it from Diane. So get to work.
Maybe that'll jog his little memory.
I'm like my skin crawl.
Oh, don't you think he's so sexy, Al? Man that can't even show his face. And you know Casbad, who fawns over him, Casbad and Evie, they used to say, do you remember, Scooter, what they used to say about Rabid Dog? That his face probably looks like a foot.
She said the
Yes. Do you remember that? They said his face looks like a foot. I don't know where they got that from. I think, did he show himself on camera once?
This is what we had a good laugh about this, don't worry. But this is what she does, right? She tries to cause trouble between people. Like, I'm really going to be upset that Casbah and Evie would have a good reason to not be my biggest fan back then, okay? It's okay. But the fact that she tries to use this to cause trouble, yeah, it's not going to work, Merb, okay? It's actually fucking funny.
I would love to know the context of them saying that. I mean, hey, they don't know what you look like. Maybe you do look like a foot, but I just think that's the most random thing to say. Somebody looks, I don't know. I hate feet, so maybe that's what I would like. It looks like a foot, which means he's ugly. He's just repulsive. I don't want to look at him. I don't know. But
well, do you know what, Merb? You've pressured me so much. You know, you've shamed me for not being on camera. So just for you, I'm gonna expose my face for you, okay? So prepare yourself for this.
oh no.
There I am.
What the fuck?
Do you want to see me in my younger years?
I can't.
That's me in my younger years. Before I matured into the man I am now.
Oh Jesus.
And there I am today.
Oh my. Oh jeez. Oh, I'm glad I wasn't drinking something right at that moment. Oh my god.
I just, you know,
It looks like
how does someone look like a foot? How's that actually possible?
Well, Casbat and Evie, if you're still in the chat, you were right. He looks just like a friggin' foot. Oh my god.
Well,
oh, I can't says, where are your crocs? Oh, that's a foot in a croc is even worse. I'm just saying. Oh, Jesus.
just for the record, that's not actually me. Obviously, that's just a Google image I found there. That's not my face. I obviously, you know, we're talking about envy, right? And the dangers of envy. I envy Merb. I want to be as righteous as Merb.
Oh, and she has her crown on. Oh, she's angelic. Oh,
The halo.
Halo
Halo virtuousness, even.
I see memes for years.
Yeah, if anyone's got a clip channel out there, you may want to use this live. There's a few corkers in here.
Tracy has a question for you before you go on.
Okay.
Is that your foot, though?
Not my foot. No.
Oh, I can't even breathe. I just can't.
Oh, this is so ludicrous.
Remember, Al. Let him remember. Maybe that'll jog his little memory.
Makes my skin crawl.
Elle, I'm a little upset by that comment. Like, I have a soft spot for Elle. Jesus.
I thought Elle liked everybody. I mean,
Yeah.
she struck me as that type that just likes everybody, but you make her skin crawl. So, damn. Because you look like a foot, I'm sure.
Must be, right?
Oh, don't you think he's so sexy, Al? Man that can't even show his face. And you know Casbat, who fawns over him, Casbat and Evie?
Casbah doesn't fawn over me. What are you talking about, you silly women?
They used to say, do you remember, Scooter, what they used to say about Rabid Dog? That his face probably looks like a foot.
You said the
Yes, do you remember that? They said his face looks like a foot. I don't know where they got that from. I think, did he show himself on camera once? But they called you the foot or something, okay? These are the people that you're bonding with, Rabid, okay? And they said...
Oh, no, it's called hate bonding. Don't forget,
Yeah.
hate bonding.
Yes, hate
Many
bonding.
people said you must really not be too great because you could...
I must not be too great. Okay. Can you be specific?
never live up to everybody calling you back.
She's praying that I'm terribly ugly. That's what she's hoping.
Yeah.
Voice that you never show on your face.
You
Oh,
said
yeah.
the C word.
Right? But you call everybody else out, right? Right, Rabid? You call people out on their looks. You call people out on everything.
When have I called anyone out on their looks? When have I done that?
Well, we were making fun of her
Picture?
hand, her
No, it was really just.
L on you, her weird hand, but that's not making fun of her looks.
We made fun of the expression on one of her selfies. Wasn't making fun of your looks.
You call out a crime victim's family. You promote a channel that is harassing them. You call women the C word. You forgot that, Rabid?
Nope. Didn't forget.
Forget. Here's Rabid Dog, the echo chamber. The women.
Echo chamber. Echo chamber. Victimology. Sarah Boone.
Sarah Boone.
The woman abuser has spoken to me.
The women abuser. It's just a fact now. Rabid is a women abuser. Okay. I should change my name to women abuser.
Rabid Dog, the woman abuser, has spoken to me that I cannot refute it. Well, you know what, Rabid Dog? F you.
Refute it then.
I refute it.
Oh, do it then.
Well, just saying you refute it isn't really refuting it. So.
Oh. Yeah.
Lies. You're not the boss of me. You abused me.
What?
You know what? You can't tell me about myself because you don't even know me. And I will refute it because you made it slander and libel.
Oh.
What's slanderous about using a curse word, Merv?
And
you don't want to hear.
When was the last time that anybody said you're not the boss of me without being sarcastic saying it? You're not the boss of me, Rabid Dog.
Rabid Dog.
What? Okay. You don't want to be him, and he's not the boss of you. Got it. Noted.
She has no counter argument. Oh, really? Don't speak for me, Rabid Dog, because you can't even show your face. When you show your face,
again,
you see you have.
Why would showing my face make you, at that point, decide to address my comment, though? Like, why does that matter, me showing my face? I don't understand.
I guess nothing you say has any legitimacy unless you show your face.
Got it.
Yeah, that's the rule, apparently.
No, nothing between your legs as a setup that you can even do anything about, okay? Because if you did, you'd show your face. Sorry to be crude, but that's all you understand.
What?
That's all I understand?
I don't even know what that means.
No, I don't.
And as usually for her, she has no face or voice to try and smear with her pathetic.
The actual irony of her saying this while reading out this comment where I'm making the point that she has nothing to attack with this blog because she doesn't know who's behind the blog mirror reflecting back blog. Which, by the way, let me, while I remind myself, for anyone out there that's not seen this blog, you need to check it out. It's one of the best criticisms out there of Merb. So well written that you need to check it out.
So Buttercup says, this is really sick to call someone a woman abuser. Is being a man abuser any different?
Yeah, good point, right?
Mm-hmm. Things that make you go,
So that's the link for the blog. It's written by a very smart person who has some great analysis of old Merby. So,
and can I assume that the author doesn't look like a foot?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
But yeah, the point I'm making here is because she doesn't know who's behind it, she has, she can't go after a face or a voice, right? So she can't refute what's written in the actual blog, just like she doesn't seem to be able to refute what I say. But because my voice is out there and the Rabid Dog icons out there, she can try and attach, slander to that, but she can't do that with this.
Rage. Oh, no face or voice with my pathetic rage? No, you're cowards. We know who you are. Okay.
You are an abusive man, and I am not big mad. I think you are an abuser.
Yeah, there we have it.
I don't think you played where she actually said the Sarah Boone, and her voice kind of wavers while she's saying Boone.
Hold on, I'll get that for you.
That's okay. That's okay. Sarah Boone, Echo Chamber.
Sarah Boone. Sarah Boone. Oh, I can't wait for that. Oh, I can't wait for that case. I'm such a knowledgeable expert.
But nobody's watching. Nobody's watching.
Echo
Never watch videos. Who's going to watch his video? His video.
It's just the victimology. Just doing the victimology. I'm not bashing Shanann. Victimology. Victimology. I'm not making fun of deceased victims. Deceased victimology. Victimology. That's all it is. That's all it is.
Yeah, exactly. That is what he said. That is what he said. Remember that. Yes. Remember that. Yes. He said that. Who's going to watch that? Who's going to watch that? Serious.
Well, it's safe to say that one woman's not going to be watching you. She's not a fan. She's not a fan at all.
No, she's not, right? She's not a fan.
See, you guys? I mean, she has to look at that and go, what the hell was I thinking? What was I trying? I can't even try to put myself in her place and try to figure, because you don't sound like that. You don't even remotely sound like you're talking like that, because you have, you're not monotone, but you have a very calm voice when you talk, but you don't sound like that. And she's like practically climbing on top of the microphone. She's closing her eyes. I mean, what the hell?
It's very weird.
It's very weird, and it's creepy.
You know how many great trials MRB has missed by targeting Natasha? She could have had a good crime channel, but she wasted it. I agree. Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Yes, that's the thing, is none of the true crime channels that I follow even talked about that Taylor Shabusiness, except for like, the bigger ones, like what is it, Trial and Crime channel or something like that. Would have been a really good one. It was a short trial. It was easy to get caught up on. Like, that would have been a really good one. I know she did talk about it one night. I heard her talking about it one night after the verdict was read, but
that's a bizarre one, isn't it? My God, that woman. She's something.
Yeah. If you're going to be a true crime channel, you could have invested a couple hours a day talking about that one, because there was enough to talk about. Again, she doesn't seem to be focusing on her own channel, which is, it's a waste, actually.
Yeah. Her jealousy destroyed her from the inside out. Yeah. She can't self-reflect. Impossible. I actually think you're right, Sarah. I think there is some kind of illness going on there.
Hey, so if you guys, he pinned that. Let me put if anybody wants to come up.
Yeah.
I put the StreamYard link in.
How'd you put it on? Okay.
Yeah. And up at the top, he's pinned the link to that blog.
Yeah, it's mirror reflecting back. She thought it was.
So can we all just kind of assume that Rabid Dog
Dog?
Rabid Dog. At least as far as we know, again, he's not a woman abuser. And to stop saying that, for
It's
Christ's sake,
so
stop it. You don't want people talking negatively about you or anybody in your family. I get that. Stop labeling, especially, and we all know there are certain words that you call, especially men on YouTube and in these communities where there are such few men, you call them certain words. You know what you're doing. You know exactly what you're doing. Like I said, I've called her the C word a couple times. I've seen a couple people in the chat. If she wants to say that I'm abusing her, then knock yourself out. That will get you very far. But when you say a man's been, a woman basher, a woman abuser, and alludes to all this secret shit, just stop it. You're looking even more ridiculous. I mean, come on.
I mean, it's kind of hard to take it serious. I mean, what really pissed me off when she was trying to allude to something in Ireland, like, that's so gross. It really is, because I know how I see her like the method she's using, and it's so sly. It really is. But
well, I've seen her do that with Natasha too, but I don't talk privately with Natasha at all. So I don't, hey, I'm like everybody, like she says, and just wait. I'm going to show you. And then she never shows. And it's like, well, then what the hell did you get me all excited about it for? And then there's nothing there. But, honestly, it's different. It is. It's different when you do that to a man on this platform, because it just is. You get women worked up into a frenzy. There's a lot of people who are very, and I don't like this word either, but triggered, especially, mental abuse, physical abuse. Here, you're one of the few men in here, and she's throwing out these things like that. Oh, I'm sorry. The person in your chat that said it at the beginning, where they heard about you before you even came back to YouTube, right? That's bullshit. I mean, that shouldn't ever happen. Somebody's mad because you said something she didn't like.
You're absolutely right. It's an insult to people that have genuinely, suffered at the hands of women abusers, Don't be so casual about it for some YouTube petty drama. So gross.
Yeah, I agree. It's so gross.
Yeah, I agree, Sarah. Peasant mentality. Pitchforks and torches.
Yes, exactly. She's trying to allude to this stuff. And I did hear her say on one of her lives where she was talking about, Natasha's people that just, blindly follow her, that, that's their fault. When she says stuff, it's important that you go out and you find the information yourself. You back it up. Don't just blindly believe her. But that's what she's asking all her subs to do, to just blindly believe, because she doesn't show any proof that you're this woman abuser other than you called her the C word.
Yeah, it's all facts and no fluff, right, Merb? So I'm asking you to back that up. Show any tangible evidence of me being a woman abuser or anything that I need to hide. Okay? Show something. Rabid should show his feet on his channel. It would be hella funny and get a lot of views.
No.
I genuinely hate feet.
Me do too.
Even my own feet.
Yep. I was just reading. When I was part of MRB's losers, she used those of us that actually followed a trail to talk about it live. MRB knew nothing as she was too busy stalking people. Oh, okay. Yeah. I think of her a lot of behaviors and act, but you have to have something wrong with you to put on an act like that, and an act that makes you look like a freak. Well, she said it herself that she's now going to be known as a lunatic when she found out that she freaked out over something that wasn't true. I don't know if she realizes, but she hasn't really corrected that.
She's chosen to just ignore the fact that she was wrong.
Yeah.
She's just,
You're really quiet.
Here. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's chosen to just ignore that. inconvenient fact that she made a mistake.
But I just think it's funny that she thinks that that's what's going to define her as a lunatic. Well, I mean, you've done many of things since then that could still qualify that. And you know.
Yeah, you're right, TV. When you think about it, it's rather cowardly, isn't it? She can't ever publicly make any admission.
What?
Well,
Hold on. The chat's moving.
the other day she had a meltdown and handed the phone to Jimmy and said, "Did that record?" That was good stuff. Huh. I didn't hear that.
I don't know about.
Oh, yeah. And Natasha is exactly right. If Merb lost her channel, if that ever happened, I don't know if she could come back like Natasha has done like 50 times. That'd be interesting.
And also, again, if she does again disappear off the internet altogether, if you never hear from Natasha ever again, it's not like MRB's channel is just going to flourish. It's not. You know, it's just like anything else. You know, people watch, and whatever they're watching, they may like, so they'll sub. But if you don't grow your channel in whatever direction you're going in, people are going to stop watching. Mm-hmm. And clearly that's kind of what happened. Other than when she gets on and talks shit, you know, this drama stuff back and forth, lobbing dirt clods at Natasha or Hell to the No. She doesn't get a whole lot of views. Where are her 40,000 subs? Where are they? I think a lot of them probably joined when she was doing her crafts or whatever it was she was doing. And now she doesn't do that very often. And when she does, at least a few times I've kind of popped in, she's still kind of interjecting little side snide comments, you know, and some people just don't want that. They don't, you know, they go to, she's supposed to be a true crime channel, supposed to be a craft channel.
Well, just, I don't take any joy in showing this, right? Because she's obviously not in a good place, but...
You're quiet again.
You hear me now?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello? Okay. All right, so I don't take any joy in playing this, but this is her yesterday doing true crime. She's obviously not in a good place right now, but this is the outcome of all this. And just notice the atmosphere here. Oh, I need to unmute YouTube. Oh, I need to
Oh, hi, Bookie N.
So she's going to talk about the Brian Kohlberger case here.
WL. Crystal. Okay, let me get over there. What a day. I am exhausted. I have, let me see. Lives. Where's the live? Tired. Trying to find the live chat. Oh, I'm really thinking my computer needs some kind of rehaul. What kind? Okay, so we said we were going to have a craft live, but I think it's going to be more of a, I don't know, the crime. It is craft, chat, and crime. I think it's going to be the last two, the chat and crime, because everybody's exhausted. So I was going to see, let's just see what's going on in the world out there. Okay, Brian Koberger demands the judge throws out the charges. Meanwhile, the prosecution has asked the court to compel Koberger's defense to present his alleged alibi. Okay. That looks wacky. Let's see here. What's going on over there? Prosecutors are demanding that Brian Koberger provide his alibi to the court, and they've given him a deadline, and it's passed. State filed a motion to compel the alibi or else forfeit that right to use it in trial. And then the defense attorneys filed their own motion to have the suspect's indictment for the murders of the 4 Idaho college students thrown out altogether, saying that prosecutors misled the grand jury on the standard of proof for the indictment. Prosecutors initially requested the alibi in May, starting at a 10-day timer prescribed by state law. The defense requested an extension, citing they need to review the voluminous evidence. And the judge said they had till July 24th, which is passed. July 24th came around. The defense attorney said that Koberger would invoke his right to silence and would not present an alibi. In the documents filed on Monday, the defense wrote that the suspect could not have committed the crime of which he is accused because he was elsewhere, which they said they would prove in court with their own expert witnesses and cross-examination of the prosecution's witnesses. Prosecution motion, if approved, would require the defense to provide the specific place or places where Brian Koberger was during the times of the murder and burglary, as well as the names of addresses of all witnesses that the defendant intends to rely on to establish the alibi. It's important to note that this scheduled October 2nd, 2023 jury trial is barely more than 2 months away. If the defense intends to rely on an alibi, it is essential that they be required to provide prompt notice, wrote the prosecutor. In its argument to dismiss the indictment, the defense attorneys argued that the Idaho's own laws are unclear about what constitutes standard proof for an indictment, saying that what the prosecution provides qualifies only as a presentment, and the case should go to a preliminary hearing. Defense also argued that the grand jury itself was improperly seated. The defense argues for the delay in the October start of the trial without sacrificing Koberger's right to a speedy trial. Earlier, the defense questioned a piece of key evidence against their client, the knife sheath found in the middle of the bloody crime scene. Police say the DNA on the sheath led them to Koberger's family and ultimately to Koberger himself. Defense argues that the sheath could have been placed at the scene by someone other than Koberger. The jury has set a hearing, the judge has set a hearing for August 28th for several of the motions.
I better say something, right? Because she's also going to try and strike this, I would imagine. But you get the idea. It's almost, this might sound overly critical, but it almost feels like, you know, I'm miserable, so I want everyone else to be miserable too. She even wants to get attention out of her misery. If you're that down and depressed or whatever's going on, I know what it's like to be depressed. Just stay the hell off. You know, take a few days off. I mean, no one wants to hear that shit. Oh, I don't know, Amber. Hybrid and Sarah agree. Oh, hey, Jelly Bear. You've reminded me to mention Sarah Boone. Sarah Boone. I really thought I would be talking about Sarah Boone these days, but it's the ever perpetually postponed trial. It's just never going to happen. She's coming up for 3.5 years. It's crazy. Jenny, did I miss anything? Three CT scans, no internal bleeding. Couple of cracked ribs. Oh God, what happened, Jelly? Hope you're alright. I've not actually read the letter yet. I've been kind of putting it off. Or I've been lazy. I said her name wrong. I did, Helen. It's more like
Sarah Boone. Oh, I can't wait for that case.
Tevi says, I'll be so mad if I have to go back to work before the Sarah Boone trial. How many postponements so far? I've lost count. It must be like 4, 5, or 6. Hey, Lisa. I don't really have a dog in this fight and don't understand the issue. Can anyone give a brief synopsis? Oh, that's hard. That's a hard one, Lisa. Yeah. That may take some time. Like a 10-page dissertation. I guess you could sum it up as a terrible example of what acute jealousy and a rather narcissistic personality can lead to, the dangers of that, and how you can lose your perspective utterly to your detriment. We've covered quite a few topics tonight. I swear, guys, I had no idea what I was actually going to talk about tonight. Believe it or not. Hey, Jennifer. Okay, so you're all good, Julie, yeah? Feet in the air.
Oh, she's good. Yeah, yeah. Helen says she's going to say it was all planned. Didn't she accuse that last time that we orchestrated something?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. We don't have to orchestrate stuff. No.
I mean, we don't put that much work into it, honestly. I pop up, you can teach me how to do drama. Sure. I don't know if you'll do it. Hey, yeah, I'll put the link in. Were you going to go? I'm sorry, I got a call, so I haven't been listening.
No, if anyone wants to jump up, then feel free.
So what have we covered about things that we don't like about YouTube?
The temptations of YouTube are a problem. Especially when you already come to the party with problems yourself.
Hey, whoa, Lisa. I will say, I do think people that use YouTube as a job, which is perfectly fine, people do it, and more power to them. I do think that adds an extra level of complexity because there is. It's their job, it's kind of like a salesperson, right? Used car salesmen that run and flock to you when you drive into the parking lot. Everybody wants to try to get that little piece, but again, YouTube is big enough for everybody, and everybody that wants to make a decent living off of it. If you market yourself correctly, I don't see why anybody should have a problem. Oh, hi, Welsh lady. Did I say hi, Lisa? I meant to say hi. Yeah, it's big enough for everybody.
It is.
Hey, Lizzie.
Hi there, Rabbit. I like you. I don't care what anybody else says. I like you. And Shirley, I mean, what can I say? I missed you so much today, but
I'm gonna listen to your live tonight. Yeah, I'm sorry I couldn't do that this morning.
Don't worry about it. But you know what? I'm sitting there thinking, I don't usually join in with the drama. And I thought, okay, I'm sitting there and I really don't know what's been going on. And it's quite kind of disturbing. And I thought, I wonder if Shirley could teach me how to be join in with the drama.
It depends. There's a lot of drama I just stay away from because it's a lot. But even this, so you don't even have to know the players involved in all of this. You just hear the context of it. It's kind of gross, right?
Well, it's really weird. I was listening to that. The last time I ever saw Mummy Ramblings was around the time that she lost her son.
Yeah.
So I haven't really watched it since.
Yeah.
But regardless of who you're talking about, and maybe without any Shirley words, can you teach me how to get like really angry with someone?
Well, see, it's kind of interesting, right? Because like we're all into true crime, and when you think about why is it that a lot of us are interested in true crime?
The victimology. The victimology. Sorry, go ahead.
So yeah, we're interested in people and how people when people go really wrong, because we're always observing people going really wrong in true crime cases, and it's all about the psychology, I guess, and the history behind why people go wrong. So you can just sum it up as being interested in the human condition. And
I get that.
And what gets termed as drama on YouTube, it's a pejorative term for the most part because a lot of drama is a little contrived you know, and it's a little pretend play, a little bit pantomime.
And
But
a
there's
bit
also,
weird.
yeah, and a
Yeah.
bit weird,
Yeah, for sure.
for sure. But there's
I've been
also,
shaking my head here thinking,
yeah.
Rabid looks like a foot.
Yeah. Where to begin?
So a really easy way to get worked up is when you watch enough of the craziness and, you know, people lying and people, you know, misquoting on purpose. You know, we've all seen that, right? I mean, that's pretty much in every community. But when you see people saying things that can be very harmful, like, you know, he's an abuser, he's a woman abuser, you know, and I'm not just sticking up for him. I've seen people say things about other people that I don't even know, and then, you know, usually I'll have to go out and I'll dig and be like, that's not what happened. And then you start getting I start getting really kind of annoyed that I'm being lied to. Like, you don't, again, I think people's own personal, you know, their natural nature of how they act, you know, your integrity is one thing. If you have to lie or twist the truth to try to drum up something like hate for somebody or to create some sort of drama, then that irritates me. That really bothers me, because again, I think most people give enough away of themselves that they, you know, kind of like with AD, he does enough on his own that you don't need to be making shit up, right? And I think most people are like that. Yeah. So I start getting angry that people try to manipulate, is what it is. That's what gets me angry. The manipulation.
Mama, I wonder who that is. Is that little Cole?
That is Cole.
Hi, Cole.
Hello. It's interesting to me how people behave on YouTube.
Oh, absolutely. And right there, you've got it. That's where I come from, Rabid.
Yeah.
I'm just really interested to see why people do the things they do and what they get out of it. I mean, I get lost.
I think it's a few things. It's to do with attention. It's to do with validation through quite abstract things like numbers and subscriber counts. And it's also financial. Those are the main issues. It'd be very interesting to me, just as a kind of experiment, if you were to somehow, if YouTube could hide numbers somehow, and if it just took money away from the equation, and just notice how people started to behave after 3 or 4 months without the abstract validation that people get, because the amount of temptations that are out there to be dramatic or to exaggerate or to make shit up, there's a very strong temptation to do that, because people love to watch a circus. They love to watch drama.
Yeah, I get it, because I'm in that area and nobody wants to know my thoughts on it, because I mean, I loved YouTube. I think it's great. For me, it's great. You know, there's lots of opportunity to see different things. I mean, meeting different people, especially people like you and Cheryl. I mean, good old Cheryl. But I don't have any of what you just mentioned. I mean, I don't get paid. I don't care about the views I get. I don't care about how many subs I've got.
Yeah.
It's just enjoyable to be able to kind of use it in the form that I use it. But like you say, a lot of people, there's a lot of issues that they need. And my thoughts on where we're all coming from is we've basically only got the internet in common. So we have just about every single personality in the world joining us at some point. And I just try to not compare people, but to accept people for how they are. This is what works for me. It's not going to work for everybody, obviously. But not look to compare, and always see a good side, because everybody has a good side. I don't care who they are. There is a good side. I see them as like a facet, you know, and there's some long facets which may be horrible, but there are others. And for me, that's what keeps me going. So even when people hate other people, I don't, because I don't care about those areas. I try and focus on the others. But it's really interesting, like you were saying, the agenda that everybody has behind having a channel.
Yeah.
And you're right. I guess if YouTube came along and took everything away, then you'd be left with me, because I'd be the only one who'd be happy.
No, see, and that's what I was saying. I think, when people use YouTube as their job, which is perfectly fine, but then that adds a different layer. I mean, back in the day when you didn't get paid for doing anything on YouTube, that's when you had kittens and puppy videos and stuff, right? So if nobody got paid, and there would still be some people where it's all about the numbers, it's all about the views, it's all about the subs, because they get their self-worth from that kind of a thing. There would still be those people, but you put money into it, and I think it just affects some people a certain way, which is not normal. It's not always in the best light.
I don't know how I'd be. I do actually plan, because it's part of my retirement, that I'm going to have a couple of channels where I hope to get monetized or whatever, to make some money, maybe to leave for the kids once I've gone. But basically, I've never had an inclination to get a penny from YouTube. I don't see it as a reason for anything other than impart information that I've got, if it's the Maddie channel, or expose stuff that needs to be seen. And to me, that's what YouTube's all about, and then going through and watching a few cat videos and puppy videos and cooking, seeing what I want for supper tonight. But,
and you are right. Like, say for MRB, for example, I don't think she's necessarily a bad person. But you can make an argument for seeing the good side of her, but it's when her actions have pretty ugly effects on other subscribers and other creators. And I mean, I shouldn't just pick on Merv. She's not the only one. I mean, for example, I'm not the biggest fan of Armchair Detective.
You're
and
not?
I don't, no. But I have to say, this Super Chuffer guy, there's no doubt in my mind that he is not highly motivated by anything more so than attention and subs and views with what he's been doing lately against Armchair Detective. And that's just a prime example of the dangers of how people behave on YouTube because of the temptations. If he didn't know he was going to get that kind of drama, attention, views, and to see the way that he's been behaving regarding it, like a child, that is that's kind of sickening to me, because he does not deserve that. That's tangibly dangerous behavior, and the fact that he's doing it through these temptations is the problem.
I don't agree with, and I don't usually make my thoughts public, but I think I've made it clear by not discussing about that issue that it's not something I ever want to get involved with, because I don't believe, I'm not saying nothing's impossible, but I see absolutely no proof of anything. So I'd rather just sit back and keep away from that kind of stuff. But,
and I respect that,
but I also see that other people have different thoughts, and I mean, this is what I'm saying about Cheryl. I just adore her. She has.
Oh, Cheryl's great.
Yeah, she has such great thoughts. I mean, when I first met Cheryl, I said to her, I really like you. We're kind of alike. And she's saying, well, I don't know if we are. And I thought, I maybe put it the wrong way. It's not that we're alike, but we do think a lot the same.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I respect Cheryl so much. If I have an issue, I will come to Cheryl and I'll either listen to her advice or say, no, don't agree with that, but thanks for letting me know. And but usually she has such great advice for what I want, for my choice. But I must be so aggravating to her. I must be so aggravating to everybody because I tend to not view people as that I hate them or I don't like them. You can call me, and believe me, in the Maddie community, I've been called all the names under the sun.
Mm-hmm.
And from people that have issues in real life, they've also, but it to me, it's like, if you want to call me something or accuse me of something and I'm guilty, I will apologize. But if I'm not, it's not my problem. It's your issue. So I very rarely get upset with what people say. You know, I'm just really lucky that way. Really lucky.
Yeah. I get
you
that.
know, it's not, and that's why I stay away from the drama, because I'm of no help. It's like coming up here. I'm of no help to you today.
No, but it's interesting to get your perspective, right?
Yeah, it's Shirley knows me enough that there isn't anything that really bothers me. I really don't feel like getting angry. I haven't got the energy to get angry about anything. And if somebody is hated by somebody else, that doesn't mean I've got to hate them. Doesn't mean I've got to like them either. But I have to tell you, in 16 years since the beginning of the Maddie case, there's only 2 people that I want nothing to do with.
Mm-hmm.
Really, that's it. I will be there for everybody else. But those 2 people, if they were in trouble, I'd be there for them anyway. So,
right, yeah.
You know, I'm just fortunate. I'm not an issue. But what I wanted was for Shirley to teach me how to get angry, because she's so good at it.
Sometimes a little too good at it. There's apparently some people over here on this side that thinks that I don't actually have a right to say anything because I don't know anybody. Well, you know, you don't have to know a whole lot of people. You just have to watch 1 or 2 friggin' lives and you can still have an opinion on it. That's stupid.
Yeah, but what's one of your opinions? I want to copy you.
You'll have to start saying Shirley words. I don't know if you can do that.
Oh, okay. Well, try me.
Well, we'll just use Rabid. You've got somebody out there who what did you count that time? 28 or 30 times in one live she called you an abuser?
Yeah, a woman abuser.
A woman abuser. You know, that's infuriating that someone just decides that they're going to go on a live in front of hundreds of people and throw this accusation out about somebody, all because he had the nerve to have an opinion that didn't agree with hers. Like, that's fucked up. Say that, Lizzie. Say that's fucked up. Say it. That's fucked up.
Oh, that's Shirley word up.
Wow. You may have a long way to go, Lizzie. You may have a long way to go. But...
Okay. I'll give up. But you know what? I just want to say, I don't want to stay on here because I'm, you know, this is like the drama and the whatever is what's good. But I just want to say that I just love YouTube for so many reasons. I love it. I love the internet. I can totally ignore anybody who says anything against me. There's only one thing that's ever been said to me that upset me. I was in an expat forum prior to the Maddie issue. So it was back in 2005, 2006. And there was one chap who I actually ultimately managed to get him offline.
Oh, really?
That was incredible. And it was in Revelstoke in BC, and it was a small town. So she kept me informed. She says, well, we've done it. We're waiting for him to come in and complain. It was great. But anyway, he was a real nasty piece of work, and I was always polite to him. And but one day, and he never bothered me. It didn't bother me what he wanted to call me. I've been called all the names under the sun. But this one time, he came in as Liz's drunk dad, Ted.
Oh my God.
In a chat.
Yeah.
And that one just obviously got to me. But that's the only time I have ever been upset with what somebody has called me, or, you know, with YouTube or internet, because we didn't have the YouTube back then. Well, I don't know. But it's, no, I love YouTube. I love everybody.
I do.
Pardon?
I do too. I like YouTube too. And I don't normally get very upset about what anybody says about me. I mean, I don't really care one way or another, but I do get upset when I see people doing things to other people that are crossing a line. I'm not just talking about, the little back and forth crap, that's just what it is. But, there's been, just like with AD, there's been some really serious things said about people with no basis for it. And that's just wrong. And that pisses me off. And that's the kind of stuff that I feel needs to be called out. It needs to be pointed out. Like, this person's just wrong. They have no right to do that. If you've got proof, show your proof. If you don't, then shut the hell up.
Exactly. Yeah. If you don't have proof, I don't want to hear it, because it's a load of what's it, right?
Exactly. And that's usually what gets me more worked up than anything else. Again,
and I can see. Hang on a sec.
I put your channel link in the chat there, Lizzie. Anyone that's not aware of Lizzie's channel, go check it out. She does great coverage of the Madeleine McCann case, especially. Got some great stuff on there. You did a live tonight, actually, didn't you? You were speaking to someone on the case.
Yeah, I had another chap on because Shirley wasn't with me. But what happens is I was doing a Q&A, which means that you have to watch chat to find out what people are asking you. And I can never see chat. Well, even if I can see it, I'm focusing and concentrating on what I'm doing, and I forget to look in chat. So, Shirley, there might have been people asking me questions, and because you weren't there, they just didn't get their answers. But I did miss you.
Oh, well, thank you.
But no, I totally get. No, you're great. And now I forgot what I was going to say. But the point is that for me, as somebody who, I don't know, I just have more. I hate to. What hurts me is when other people are hurt. It's there's been issues where I've seen everybody else hurt, and that hurts me. That I don't like. But I'm not worried about me. I can, I can.
And there are great aspects to YouTube, absolutely.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm concentrating on things to hate about YouTube right now. It's a funny thing about human nature. Sometimes we tend to concentrate on the annoying things, But you're right. I mean, YouTube has a great element to it, when it's used in the way that we enjoy.
Well, the communities, us
right?
get together. You,
yeah.
Well,
I mean,
everybody else. If we didn't have YouTube as such and Facebook, I mean, my life would be okay. Shall I go out and do some weeding, or shall I listen to a few songs? I mean, the internet and YouTube, and it's given me my life, because I've really not got a lot else, so, and I kind of like to see a little bit of drama, but I don't ever want to get into it. I've always avoided it. I learned a long time ago. I made one mistake. And this is going back, 10 years or more, is I actually supported somebody publicly. And what that did, it meant that one person that was helping me in the Maddie case got upset with me and refused to help me with some of the things I was doing. I needed her translation stuff, and she refused to do it. And Maddie ultimately suffered, the case, what I could do for the case, because I couldn't add translations to videos anymore. And at that point, I said, that's it. I'm not going to ever support anybody again in public, because it has too many repercussions, and I'm not willing to accept those repercussions anymore. That one really hurt me, hurt Maddie, hurt the Maddie case. And so now, that doesn't mean I won't support behind the scenes. You need help. I don't care I don't care what side you're on. If you need help with something and I can offer it, you need help, I really don't care. But that's what made me stop publicly supporting anyone. So you won't see me standing up and saying, oh yeah, I support such and such in this. I support Rabid. I like you, Rabid. Yeah.
Even though he looks like a foot.
Oh, I mean, that's what actually endears me to him.
It's an actual, I love how you see it as a positive.
Yeah. But I just wanted to pop on and see if Shirley could teach me how to do a bit of drama, but obviously it doesn't work, so I'm gonna just have to hide back into the background.
Just keep being you, Lizzie.
Well, I still get myself in trouble, but
oh, we all do.
At the end of the day, I'm probably the happiest person I know. So whatever I choose to do, please don't get angry with me, because it's what I need. It's my life.
No, I think a lot of us feel the same way. I mean, we're not all on here because we're miserable. There may be miserable.
Oh,
well, I mean, I know it sounds like it, but if you, it's like the salty chats. Like those are, normally we have, her lives. There's a lot of fun that happens in those, and in Rabid's, even when he's doing the true crime, again, not just blowing smoke up his ass, but I really like his true crime because, I watch a lot of true crime channels and they're all different, and I like them for different reasons. But one of the reasons I like his is because he really, it's like an engagement with the chat. It's not just him sitting up there reading an article or anything. He's engaging the chat. And when he was covering the Letitia Stout case, like he would do a live after, a couple days worth of trial, and there would be people in chat that would bring up something that, it's like, oh, I didn't even think about it that way. You know what I mean? And I love that. I love that about, his style of the true crime, and then there's the other true crime channels that, there's certain styles that I like. So there's a lot I do like. It's just, sometimes there's a lot of shittiness, and you can ignore it to a point. But that's the other thing, is people get, they get very defensive of their creators that they follow, especially ones that do engage with their subscribers. They have like this, friendship kind of thing, and you get very protective, just like what you were saying. When people say things about other people, it's upsetting.
Yeah.
And so when you have creators going at it back and forth, it does kind of cause like these little mini wars, because there are people that are going to stick up for their creator friends, and sometimes it just gets downright ugly, and that's where the anger starts coming up.
Yeah, I'll stick up for them, but behind the scenes, they need something, I'll be right there for them. But yeah,
well, I do try in some of our chats. You see, I'll go off in the chats and I don't say anything publicly, but sometimes I just can't. Sometimes I just have to, because
you're so good, Shil. You try so hard, and it's so funny because I think it was Cassius last week who was saying, Oh, I'm sorry, Lizzie, but I've got to say this, and he, you know, did it. I don't want people to stop swearing around me. I mean, I've been around it. I know exactly. In fact, as many
you
actually done it myself.
You've been around it for like 3+ years with me. You're definitely used to cuss words, but
it's just you know, and it makes me laugh with my kids because they don't swear around me except occasionally. And I remember at one point I was doing some wood graining doors in a door company, and my son Jesse came in, and he was working on the forklift, but also used to come and help me do the wood graining. So this whole factory of about 50 blokes, we'd all stand around in a little circle and have a chat. And there was only a couple of us girls, but they used to call me mum. And then we'd stand there and they'd start swearing, and he stood there and he's getting all embarrassed because they're swearing in front of me because he won't let his friends swear in front of me. And I mean, I just love that kind of respect, but it's not like I'm not part of it. A lot of, you know, crikey, after 70 years, you think I've been around a heck of a lot of people that, you know, swear. It's not about that. It's you know, but I do like you don't have to stop swearing. Only on my lives. That's all, Shirley, right?
Yeah, I don't swear on your lives. I don't.
Yeah, I think that's the only thing. Well, some lives you can, but the Maddie lives, no.
Yeah.
You know, and you absolutely respect that. And it's great. And I love little Cole in the background. Hi, Cole.
Yeah.
But,
well, I'm glad you came up here. I'm glad you came up here. And no, you don't need to get angry. You just keep doing you. I think we all like you as you.
Well, it's
don't
not
change.
that. It's just that I don't have the energy or the need or the want. But Rabid, it went, just to say, I found it so weird watching what was said against you. I mean, weird stuff.
Yeah. And see, I have to address stuff like that, obviously. I mean, I can't help but
no question,
outspoken about certain things, and that's what gets a reaction a lot of the time, I think, you know. But I mean, it's fine for someone to criticize back. It's when it becomes something a little uglier, you know, where people are trying to get people to believe something that is literally not true. You know, it's both weak and kind of dangerous, you know. Just to go back to the super chuffer thing, you know, it's very common on YouTube. Especially, and it's becoming ever more common even in true crime channels. You know, it gets called crama these days. You know, where crime and drama seem to merge sometimes. You know, a lot of the people that are in both communities, there's a little bit of an overlap. But for me, what's crucial, because drama is the theater of life, and it can be interesting, but it's the intentions and motivations behind the drama that's crucial. It's when it's either motivated badly, or if someone's literally trying to defame someone, that it's something else, you know.
Yeah, and what I heard tonight, you know, because I'm learning how to listen to the drama show. This is my learning lesson. I'm listening to it, not really knowing anything. Like I say, the last time I'd seen Mummy Ramblings was way back when she lost her son. So whether things have changed since then, who knows? But I'm listening and I'm thinking, this is really weird. I mean, really weird.
Yeah, well,
mind you had it on fast go, so that makes it even weirder. But
I'm always kind of conscious of that, though, Lizzie. Like, what people that might listen to a live like this that are not aware of the creators or the history. It
Well,
must
let me
seem
tell
very
you.
weird.
Let me tell you, as an outsider, and really, I have to say that I really don't know you, because I remember when I first saw you, you were with that other bloke and there was issues
Yeah.
that, you know, so I really didn't know. But I mean, you used to come into my lives and I liked you then,
Yeah.
even if you were Scottish. But
no one's perfect, right?
well, I'm Scottish descent.
Oh,
My
okay.
grandfather and right back were up in Perth, so and he just discovered that. And my boyfriend was Scottish too, from Dundee.
Oh,
So,
I remember you saying that, actually.
Yeah. And now I'm trying to think where I was heading, but this is the problem. You know, I lose track of what I'm saying. Oh, I remember. I'm, as an outsider, I will tell you what I think.
Mm-hmm.
And because I didn't really know you, and I've seen you a few times in my life, I've seen you in some of your true crime, but sadly, because I cannot get involved with any other crime, because once I do, I go down the rabbit hole, and I haven't got time for Maddie. I spend as much time as I can with the Maddie stuff that I can't. I didn't even with the 4 years I've spent with Armchair Detective, I never looked at the investigation with the Watts case.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do it because I would be down a rabbit hole. It's frustrating because then I couldn't kind of say anything about any of what he was saying. I just know what he said. But I can't go into any other crime because I need to, you know, put my focus on Maddie. But what I've learnt tonight, and a couple of other times that, as you know, I've watched you and I've said, well, I can't say because I have no idea what you're talking about, is that it's very weird that things are being said. And had I not known of you and I just listened to that, it's very possible that I would have kind of thought, oh, okay. Yeah.
Exactly, right? Exactly.
Yeah. And
imagine all the people that would hear that on the other channel, right?
Yeah.
They weren't aware
So
of who I was.
it's really sad how that works, because why would I think any different? You tend to think that people tell you the truth. You don't realize that some of them just don't.
Right. That's what I was saying. The manipulation, when there are people that do that, you know, they say things out of context or they state things as fact when it's just their opinion, using really strong, harsh words. It's damaging to people.
Yeah. But needy words, because they need to say it because it makes them feel better, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But when you know, and I don't want to make a judgment on Mummy Ramblings because I don't know her. I am not making a judgment on her just because of what the foot thing.
Right.
But yeah, it's very, very damaging. My credibility is important to me. And as Shirley knows, that's the one thing that I just hang on to like the plague. I need to have people judge me for my credibility. And when I heard some of the things said against you, I can see how a lot of people would just plainly believe it. And so you have to stand up and give the other side.
Yeah.
And allow people the option to believe you or believe that, you know.
Just to illustrate the problem, Lizzie, because I'm not sure if you're aware, but someone on here tried to get people to believe that I was a person in a news article who had been arrested for attempted murder because this person had the same name as me. But the person that attempted to get people to believe this about me was doing it simply because they didn't like me. They had a vendetta for a stupid reason, just a silly drama reason. But they did not care to check it, to verify it. But just imagine that I wasn't able to defend myself if I was, say, just a subscriber, or if I didn't have a channel to draw attention to it. That's just a perfect example of how dangerous that kind of stuff is. Because holding people accountable through YouTube itself is, as a lot of people know, is extremely difficult. You can do it. You've obviously got to go through legal measures, but it's so time consuming. But in order to shut that down straight away, and because the data protection laws over in the UK and Ireland are so much more stricter than they are in the US, if I was in the US, I could have debunked it within seconds. But in my situation, I literally completely doxed myself. I put all my information out there, and I even recorded a phone call with the prosecuting sergeant involved in the case, and I put all that out there, and it still doesn't.
Something about this.
Yeah.
You overly exposed yourself.
I did,
just to prove yourself.
But just think about this. I'm lucky that I genuinely don't have any kind of criminal record or anything, right? I've had quite a boring life in that regard. But just imagine that I did have something that I didn't want people to know about. And I wasn't in a position to be able to do that. Someone like that had such bad intentions like that could easily destroy someone's reputation. I was just lucky enough that, I was able to debunk that so easily. But even that, even the extent to which I went to, has not stopped certain people trying to insinuate that there's some truth in that.
Yeah.
And that's why stuff like that has to be called out.
Yeah, and it could be, had I not known Shirley, who was on your channel and let me know you were there, even if I just popped in and I couldn't stay because I had no clue and I didn't want to get involved in that, I think the Storch case or whatever.
Yeah.
Any case, I love true crime, but, right now I have to stay with Maddie, no question. And had that not happened, I would maybe, who knows, if I heard some of the things that were being said, I might have wondered, I really would.
Yeah.
On the other hand, pardon?
Buttercup says right there, read that, Rabid.
As I said, I heard about you before you came back to YouTube. I'm so glad I popped into your live to see for myself who you were. I agree there's others who would have heard that same thing and blindly believed.
Yeah.
People were believing it in the chat of the creator that had this person on panel stating this as a fact. Yeah. And it's kind of like what I mentioned earlier. Another problem with YouTube is this temptation for impulsivity. When there's something dramatic happen and you want to feel like you're part of the moment and to be seen as being supportive of the community or the creator, so easy to jump to conclusions without verifying stuff. We all do it. All of us do it.
Yeah, the thing is, I think what I've missed out on saying is that I don't blindly believe. If somebody tells me something, I will check it out.
Yeah.
Now, I will only check it out if I have an interest in that particular thing. Now, if I didn't know you or had only just seen you a couple of times or, I wouldn't have had enough interest, in you to actually check it out. So my brain waves would be suggesting to me that this may be true. I would never take I never blindly believe, but your mind tends to go that way. And if you didn't mean anything to me, I might walk away from it thinking, to this day, maybe that's the rabbit or whatever that, it's really hard. But you know what and this is why I can't understand. I try to understand myself. Is, as I've said before, the only thing we have in common is that we are on the internet. I tend to, as I've explained, I see a personality as having lots of facets. There's the good, the bad, the ugly, the nice, the happy, the whatever. And even though, and I'm blessed here, I think it was my mum and dad, I was able to thank them. I am blessed that I don't need to focus on the bad. I can look to the good and get on with somebody with all those other nice facets.
Yeah.
But ultimately, the realistic situation is that you do not know. Take 100 of us in the community, and you don't like this person because, okay, they've been really bad, they're racist, or this one's this, or this one's that. But ultimately, all those other ones, you don't know if they're the same. You don't know if they've got issues. And because you haven't heard about those issues, you presume they're okay. And yet the bloke next to them or the woman next to them, it's been exposed. So then you don't like them because of that. You don't. Do you know what I'm saying? Is
I do. Yeah.
100 of us, and you might know about issues with 35, but you know what? The other 60,
I've got
65 might also have issues. Just because you don't know about them doesn't mean they've got them.
Yeah. And I mean, I can draw from my own experience of being on here. I was relatively naive when I first came on YouTube. I was very trusting of people that appear to be good actors because I've not really encountered many dodgy people in real life. And I made a lot of mistakes in trusting people that I shouldn't have trusted so quickly on YouTube. But just to see the contrast from what I know now compared to back then and who I choose to trust now, I think it takes, for any YouTube creator, I would always say, it will take 3 or 4 years before you start to really understand how to use YouTube,
Yeah. When you talk about trust, do you know that in my real life and in my internet life, there's 2 things you don't do to me. You don't ever lie to me personally, and you don't ever break my trust. And because those 2 people that I was telling you about earlier did that to me, I really have not wanted anything to do with them. I will still, with one of them, he was really good in the Maddie case and did some great threads and that. And I still allow him to focus on, I think he's still a member, on doing that, because I don't want my personal opinion, my personal thoughts towards him to influence my members being deprived of some good stuff.
Yeah.
So I still allow that. But it's see, I nearly forgot where I was going again. Just to presume that everybody else is clean because you haven't heard about it, you can't do that.
Yeah.
And that's why I think I don't focus on the bad things of people, because everybody's got, something.
Yeah.
But they've also got good.
Yeah.
And, when you look at the ultimate in that is a murderer. He's killed somebody. By the same token, he risked his life and saved somebody.
Wow.
Where does that?
Wow.
Where do you go on that?
Yeah. That's what's so interesting about true crime.
Yeah.
Like the characters in true crime stories, they're not cartoon characters. They're not just either good or evil. It's very murky and shady.
Do you find a lot of them have childhood issues?
Yeah, I mean, I think almost always everything can be traced back to experiences in childhood, through, whether it's through just the environment, your upbringing, and some of it's obviously genetic as well. It's an
Yeah.
amalgamation of all those things,
Well, I actually I have to tell you about something because I was so proud of it, nearly. But what first got me into crime was I picked up a book in a garage sale, and it was called I think Act of Innocence or something. It was about the Florida daycare issue.
Right.
I don't know if you've heard of that. And there was a little boy in it, a little gingerhead boy. And it was disgusting what this daycare did to them. But this little gingerhead boy didn't get any help. And at that point, I thought, you know what? Did he grow up to do the same as what had been done to him? Well, it was pretty disgusting. And then Small Sacrifices, that was my turning point. Just reading that book and watching the movie, that was where crime became part of it. But I've also, at some point shortly after, I was curious, are kids that are treated violently, do they turn into violent offenders? Are kids that are sexually abused, do they turn into sexual abusers? Are kids that are dominated by their mothers become rapists? This kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I was quite shocked with what happened when I started to try and find those things out.
Mm-hmm.
And first of all, I went to some cops and they couldn't help me. I wanted the statistics.
Yeah.
They couldn't help me. So they suggested I get hold of the criminal profiler in Canada. At the time, Cindy Lent or whatever her name was. Now, here I am, sat in my kitchen, and here's the criminal profiler that in Canada, and she couldn't come up with any statistics. So she said to me, if you do find any, can you let me know?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking, hang on, I'm sitting in my kitchen, and she wants to know. So I carried on. And then I got hold of the Justice Minister for Canada. And he was a conservative. And he actually took on board a lot of what I was saying. And I could hear him in Queen's Park or wherever it was. And he's giving out my theories and my thoughts on them. Like, whoa. And he said to me, and this is just absolutely amazing and incredible. He said to me, I'd really like you to be on the Justice Committee for Canada, which was made up of regular people. But he said, we've got the elections coming up. It was 1994, I think. He said, in a month. So if we can just wait till after, and then we'll see about doing that. And you know what? That was the year that something weird happened and Labour took over and he lost his seat. So I never became part of the Justice Committee.
Oh dear.
Yeah, but it was amazing. So, but also what I did, I thought, okay, I really want to find out these statistics. Oh, am I rambling on? I'm sorry.
No, this is interesting.
I'll try to be quick. Only popped up because of Shirley. So I thought, well, I'll the next place to go, I'll phone the FBI. Mm-hmm. So I phoned the FBI and I got into Quantico and I spoke to this chap. And as I'm talking to him, he turned around. When I said, are the, violent offenders, do they tend to be violent or whatever? He said, you know what? He said, you do have kind of what has happened. But he said, I can't give you can't get statistics because the offenders have already been incarcerated and there's some that don't even know they've been abused. They don't even realize they've been abused. And others are looking to get their, what's it? Begins with P. What is it? What's that word?
Yeah.
Where they can get released, whatever. He said,
probation.
Parole, yeah. And so he said, I do have some statistics that I can send to you. And he said they did do one for about 2,000 criminals to check on those statistics, but he said they can't go any further than that. He said, I'll send you some articles from the FBI. And the next day or so, by Purelator, I got a great big pile of articles, this tall, and he'd highlighted some in the front and whatever. I didn't know at the time who I was talking to. I was talking to John Douglas. He was the originator of he was the first profiler of the FBI.
That's the FBI's. That's that famous guy, isn't it? Yeah.
And then I didn't know this at the time. I didn't know who he was. So then he, I think he was on. He was part of the Green River.
Oh, that guy.
Bloke, and for some reason I phoned him back, or he phoned me, or whatever. And I mentioned about that because he was on one of the programs. That's when I saw who he was. I thought, oh, that's the bloke I was talking to. And do you know what really made me laugh? He said, well, how did I do? He said, how was it? He was asking me how he did at a TV program. And then another time, I wanted to know something else. I spoke to the forensic FBI profiler, and as he was a foreign chap, and he said to me, he said, you know, you really should take a degree in this. And I turned around to him and I said, no, I said, I'd rather spend my time phoning you and get the information from you.
A lot easier.
But I found out later he was a well-known bloke too. But that just goes to show you, here I am sat in my kitchen. Look how close I came to the Justice Committee in Canada, the FBI, the forensic. You know, you can do what you want to do, and you can get there. And here I am, ended up on Rabid and Shirley's.
It's great, isn't it? I mean, just compare how things were 50 years ago to now in terms of access to information and contacts.
Yeah, well, 1994 is around the time I was doing this, and I didn't obviously have any internet, and you know, there was nothing like that. I was I remember him telling me he was at Queen's Park or whatever. I was listening on the radio and I heard him talking, and you know, with what I discussed with him, and I tried to get into the John Howard Society, where I could either get to visit criminals or I was accepted into a halfway house, you know, for young offenders and stuff. But ultimately the kids were little and I just couldn't do it. So I had to let that go. But no, and I have to focus on Maddie now, so I can't even contemplate another thing to, you know, go down a rabbit hole.
I can relate to that because if I start following one case, I find it difficult to veer off into another one. You know, I tend to kind of focus on one case at a time.
Sarah Boone.
And I'd love to be able to listen to it, but I'm too scared because I have to know everything. You know, it's taken me 16 years with Maddie. I don't think I can manage another 16 years with another case.
Oh, Lizzie, we should do another Madeleine McCann live. I'd love to pick your brains about that again. You know,
oh, absolutely, yeah. I've got some new stuff now with it.
Okay, yeah.
You know, and I'm trying to get have acknowledged, and I'm actually just starting to work on a new timeline that I absolutely believe is very possible, and that's the timeline of when they moved her body. And I really believe.
Lizzie, to change the subject really quick. So Daphne's in the chat, and she asked this question on your live that you did about AD, and we never got around to it. So she's asking. I'm gonna hold on. My dogs are gonna bark.
About the money?
Yeah. You had said for quite a while that AD had money, and a live you was on a couple weeks ago, you said that he had no money. Which is it, please? Just a question about a changed view from you.
Okay, it wasn't really changed, because back in January, he was headed downhill. He was hardly getting anything. He was almost, he was on his way out. He wasn't really talking about what's case, whether he was stopped from talking about it or whatever, but he was on his way out. Now, we haven't known how many Patreons he's got, but judging by when he had 1,500, and for quite a few months after, he used to lose about 80 every month and gain 30. So he'd lose about 50. I estimated way back about a year or so ago that by July of this year, he'd have so few patrons that he wouldn't be getting much money. In January, the Nicola Bully case came up, and he was monetizing the Red Channel. So he added, I don't know, Mike knows, about 100 videos. In the first 2 months, he made about 5,000 in monetization, just of Nicola Bully. He then, on top of that, had Nancy sending him, I think we worked that out to be about 1,000. Anyway, it worked out that in January, February, around that time, he was making about 10,000 a month, probably more, but that was then. Since the Nicola Bully case went downhill, he's lost money on monetization. He's obviously lost a lot on Patreon. I mean, he's lucky if he gets 1 or 2 patrons in there. The rest are just the mods. And viewing is probably us. He gets like 20. If he gets 20, 25 viewing, that's it. So he's not getting money from that. He's lost so many subs. I think he lost 300 last month. He gained 100, but then he lost another 100 a few days ago. He's Nancy is kind of keeping him going. He's not getting the super chat he used to get. So now I don't believe he's getting that 10,000 that he had while Nicola Bully was on. I think he's probably really suffering for him. Not for somebody like me. He gets a pension. I get a pension. I live off my pension. He needs extra. And notice he hasn't been to poker for 6 months. He hasn't, not that I've seen anyway. So he doesn't have money right now. And he says he's going to be out on the street. Well, I believe he's living with family anyways. And they wouldn't see him on the street. He's just using that. He's the victim. He's playing the victim. So yes, if you heard me say about him getting 10,000 back in about February, March, that's probably what you may have heard. And now I don't believe maybe he's getting 2,000-3,000. I really don't know. I can't make any judgment on it, but I don't think he's getting much now. So does that answer the question, kind of thing? Yeah. Is that what the question was? Why I said he's getting money back in February, March, and yet now I say he's not getting any?
Hey, stand up. Do you know, to go back to that Super Chuffer guy, was he not covering the Nicola Bully case in a similar vein by alleging, certain people were involved that turned out not to be?
But that was irrelevant to me.
Yeah.
So I know when Super Chuffer first came on, we all enjoyed watching him. And I'll be honest, I still have seen a few times when he still does make me laugh. I absolutely do not go along with issues that have cropped up. I won't acknowledge them. But that doesn't mean, and this is, I guess, what I'm trying to say in the big picture of things. I can take a little block of somebody that I don't like, I don't want anything to do with, but it doesn't negate anything good that they might be. I don't know.
I think
I'm
it does,
weird.
though, Lizzie. I'll be honest. I think it does.
I do too. It depends on how serious it is. I mean, I can disagree with what somebody says, but at a certain point, I can't overlook certain things.
I think I tend to be maybe superficial when I'm watching things. I don't know, because I can't manufacture anger that I don't have. And Shirley, I absolutely totally understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying, Rabid. But how do I don't want to change what I feel.
Mm-hmm.
How do I do it? I don't want to. But it doesn't mean that I'm not upset, really upset about certain issues. And this goes for people in my life too. This is not just about online.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've had the most awful things said to me.
Mm-hmm.
But that's separate to the other stuff that I get along with this person with. I don't know.
Not speaking of awful things, but speaking of, Daphne is saying in the chat that she doesn't really believe you.
Oh, okay.
About how much. Well, let me just say he never had that much as you estimated. And then the next comment is, you must have known you were over egging. Come on.
Oh, I've written it down. You can check it. I've written down, I studied back in, was it 2021, March, where I underestimated where he was making 25,000. And you can check everything and tell me that's wrong if you can. But if you look back over monetization of Nicola Bully, on one video alone, he was making close to $500. On one video, he made 100,000 views. That's approximately $500. So, I mean, tell me I'm wrong. But explain why you think it's wrong. Because the amount of super chat he got, somebody had bought his paintings for 500. Nancy had sent him about 1,000 that month. I mean, you add it up, it's all there. I didn't make it up. But, at the end of the day, you don't have to believe anything.
Yeah.
Right, Shirley?
Right.
That's true.
I'm not gaining anything by saying it. I'm just bringing it to the attention of, because I take the time and trouble to check on the stats. And I've done that right the way through. That's why I can tell you, if you go back to March of 2021, maybe, or 2020, you can see he made close to 25,000. And you can't dispute it if you look at everything.
Well, I think it's safe to say that the money that he was getting in 2020 and 2021, he's not getting anything close to that now. I mean, we used to watch, and he would get, thousands of dollars in super chats alone, not including the Patreons and stuff. And he's not getting anywhere near that now. But I will say, we don't know for sure he doesn't have any money. I mean, he cries poor mouth, but he was making a lot of money. And we know he plays poker, but that doesn't mean he was spending it all on poker. I don't know. I have no idea how much money this guy has.
Oh, Shirley, I've got a list of, was it last year? Yeah, it would be last year. 4 months of last year, I think he went away abroad 4 times. He also went to Birmingham poker, Coventry poker, London poker. And when you consider that he stays there for a week at times, he was barely home for that 4 months. So you take his expenses, his food, his drink, his poker. The one tournament alone could cost him 600 to 1,000 just to play in the one tournament. But he was playing side tables too. How much was he spending? I don't care how much he was spending or what he does. I don't care if he goes to poker 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. But he was begging for money, for food. And, you know, he's done it with the dog. You know, I need to. And then he would phone people up. He would phone his subs up for money. When he was in Malta and he wanted to stay another week, he phoned one of the he phoned probably a few. He phoned one of the subs up and wanted some money. And I don't think she gave it to him, but she told us about it. And he was doing that all the time. And Mike will tell you that he's always done that. We know how much Summer Rains used to send him. I mean, he's got money from everywhere. So, I mean, he can play poker, but when you've got, what really used to get me was when you've got members and subs and that saying, oh, I can't afford to pay you till the end of the week or the end of the month. You know that they can't afford it. And he's just taking it and spending it and not telling them where he was going. That's why I exposed his poker. Because he wasn't telling them he was doing that.
Poker is not as popular as it used to be, is it? I noticed. It used to be.
I have no idea. I've never.
It was in vogue for a good few years there, but it seems to have died down a bit. But
in 4 months, he went abroad 4 times on his subs money.
Right.
And then he's coming back and saying, I've got no money. You know, I mean, no, it's not right. So whether I was right or wrong, I didn't care if he was playing poker. I didn't expose where he was staying or whatever. But definitely it was costing him a fortune for a week of playing poker. That's a lot of money. So 4 months worth is a lot of money, you know, and he can't deny it. I mean, what did he go to? Not Kazakhstan, whatever that place is. I can't remember. He went to Malta. He went to Madrid, and it costs sometimes 600 to 1,000 just to enter that tournament.
What cases is he covering now? Then
he's not.
He's covering
relying. He's lost all his cases. He's got no content. So now he's doing the victim. He's playing the victim, and it's going to extremes. He doesn't have a case because he was nearly out of it when Nicola Bully happened, and that just boosted him right up.
Yeah.
And now after the inquest, and he's finished with that, and it seems that he can't talk about Watts either. And he literally was trying on the Long Island oak, I think.
Oh, yeah.
And then one other case, another case, whatever, but he's getting like 100 and something. So, you know, subs in chat or watching. He's really not getting anything.
Yeah.
But I mean, look at the other night when he did a big victim rant, and I think he made over £500 just in super chat and stuff, because that's where he makes his money right now.
No, he doesn't need a case right now. He got handed the perfect content.
Yeah. He was nearly down. He would have been down by now had it not been for Nicola Bully. And then when Nicola Bully was coming to a close, now he's got the victim card.
Yep.
He's playing it.
Yep.
The thing that I've recognized, and it really, it's been there all the time, but it's too extreme now. Is he knows he lies, and he lies because he can, and he knows that as long as he lies, he doesn't care if he gets debunked afterwards. The fact is, initially, not so much now, but initially, as long as he was getting the money in, didn't matter if he was debunked. But his lies now have gone to extreme. I mean, the things he is saying, I mean, he's...
In regards to what?
Oh, just everything.
Right.
I mean, the weird thing is, just as of last night, just on his, was it last night's Patreon? Whatever. Yeah, I think it was last night. He was going on about Grumpy Granny and saying that she supplies everybody with Patreon. Yeah, right. And that I suspect Elle sent her a job lot of photos of the family. Elle being me, I'm now Elle the suspect. It's ridiculous. He's just making it up because he's saying because Elle found source in 2019, and it's laughable.
Yeah,
but again, this is what he does. This is what he does. He's a con artist. He's a liar. He does this, and people just keep handing him more shit to make content from.
Yeah. Well, you know, Mike and I, we both laugh because we both just focus on exposing him for what he is. And what I took from that is why didn't he say my name? And
Martin in the chat is saying Elle meant Lisa, but I don't even know a Lisa, so I don't know why.
Because
it meant Lizzie, because he's been, you know, taking digs at Lizzie for a very long time.
And not only that, he said it's the Elle that exposed the source. That was me.
Yeah.
So what I did, I put a post in No Hate, and I mean, he can call me whatever, but he has denied the source escort agency so many times for different, I mean, once it was a mock-up, it was a joke, I never did it, it wasn't mine, whatever. He's had so many excuses for it. And then he offered that, I'll give £1 million if anybody can prove that I had it, which of course we can. We've got it. It was immediately videoed and proof. And to have an escort agency, you've got to have, you know, people in it. Well, I made a point of telling him last night, which I've said before, but he's never come back on it. I have all the, I took all the profiles of the members. I know every member that was in there at the time it was taken down. I can contact them. One of them was actually a mutual friend with one of my friends. And there was one person in particular that he would not like to have exposed. I wouldn't do that. But he knows that I can if I want. And who knows, maybe one day I will contact one of them to just ask, what was it about? So yeah, he had members. I have their profiles. I know their names. I can contact them if I want to. And I let him know that. Not saying I will. Not saying I won't. You know?
Yeah, it's just hard for me to comment because I just don't know enough about the whole what's going on, you know.
No, and
it's just it's hard for me to see past, you know, what happened there recently. You know, I don't know all the.
Oh yeah, I mean, Shirley knows. I won't acknowledge that. I won't even acknowledge the fact that we're not. Well, I guess I am at this moment, but that I'm not dealing with it. It's just a non-entity.
You have to recognize it, though, right?
No, we haven't recognized it. No.
No, she doesn't.
What's that, Shirley?
I just said, no, you don't.
What do you mean?
That you don't recognize it, that you don't acknowledge it. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's thanks also to Shirley, because I did ask Shirley's advice on that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I do listen to your advice. I was going to kind of acknowledge that we weren't going to deal with it. And Shirley came up and she said, you know what, maybe you shouldn't even say it. And that's true. By
acknowledging it that you're not going to acknowledge it is acknowledging it is basically what I said.
So I haven't acknowledged it. And for the most part, nobody has brought it up in No Hate. We'll cover everything, but we won't cover that. So,
but it is being talked about in a lot of different places. People have their own opinions. Again, it goes back to what people feel comfortable with being said online without proof. Whether you want to believe what's put out there, like what you're talking about, where you were showing your documentation about how much money he was making, whether people choose to believe that or not, that's okay. But it's not like you just threw out a number and expected everybody to believe it. And there's been a lot of things said about a lot of it's a very dicey road to go down. I don't want
to touch it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I have my feelings about it, but I also have my contrary feelings about it, and they contradict. And to say them out loud, it sounds like I'm contradicting myself, which I am. But but I can honestly say I don't like it. I don't care. Okay, let me say this. I don't care just because he's done something that we need to do the exact same thing to him. But on the other hand, am I enjoying seeing him coming unfrazzled and, coming apart at the seams because of what's happening? Yeah, I am, because that's exactly what he's put a lot of other people through with his lies and his accusations. So it doesn't bother me, but on the other hand, I don't like it. I don't think that just because he did it, that it's okay for other people to do. I don't like that.
Yeah.
But I'm liking the outcome of it. He looks very bothered. He looks very disturbed by it. I don't have a problem with that. So I sound very contradictory, but that's where I'm at.
Well, this is YouTube, right? This is right. I'm just having a look here, and I can actually see if I use my specs right, because I've got to get new specs, Shirley.
Okay.
Martin is in caps accusing me of lying. Excuse me. How am I lying?
How
am I lying?
First off, Elle was not Lisa. I don't even know who the hell Lisa is. It wasn't Lisa. Everybody knows who he was talking about. Stop lying. You live or live when he being called stuff and his family attacked. I don't know what that means.
I don't know about that, but you see, he didn't. I kind of have a feeling that he didn't name me as such, because he knows that I've been chatting with Chicken Lady. I haven't been discussing stuff with her, but he doesn't know that. He knows that, and I know too, that there's at least 2 of his admin that really respect my Maddie stuff and respect me for what I do with that. And they may not agree with me exposing him, but it doesn't mean that they don't know that, I'm okay with the Maddie stuff. And so he should know me. I've known him for 10 years. So he should know me, and he should know my credibility. But he doesn't know me enough. I think his admin actually know me better. And I would not do, some of the stuff that he accuses me of doing. So you know, I wouldn't lie, you know.
Yeah.
Would I lie? You know.
Well, I think I think it's safe to say that most people that have been a part of, you know, the community for years now, they don't normally lie, because that's kind of what they've been doing, is trying to debunk him. And the few times that people have been wrong, to kind of jumping to a conclusion, at least as far as I've seen, certain creators who may have, you know, jumped the gun or misspoke, they've always retracted it and made it public. You know, hey, this was wrong. This was, you know, and they've always done that. So there's always been that level of credibility.
Yeah, and I think I've actually owned up to making a mistake a couple of times, haven't I? I can't remember, but I think
Probably.
I have. Yeah. Because that's not an issue with me. I don't want to be right. I want the truth. You know, that's my ultimate goal for everything. And but I really only popped up on here because I wanted to learn how to get angry, and I thought surely you could teach me how I could.
Well, I'm about ready to. So Martin, Chicken Lady was just in his chat last night, so I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. And you can believe that it didn't mean Lizzie, whatever. It doesn't matter. But Chicken Lady was just in his chat.
I'm the one who exposed his source, and that's what he talked about. So yeah.
And you know, whatever.
We know it's me.
Daphne says, I wouldn't say you are lying, but I would say you need to be important. You need to be important has really gone left field.
No, I don't need to be important. This is the stuff. I mean, you could accuse me of that. I know I'm not guilty of that. I don't need to be anything. I just need to have the truth out there. That's my goal. And if I'm guilty of being here because I want to be important, or saying the things I want to do because I want to be important, if that was the case, I would say, you know what, I'm kind of sorry. I shouldn't have said that. It's good to get the attention, but in actual fact, I'm not guilty of that. I'll never forget somebody saying to me once, Liz, you are looking for attention. I can't remember what it was about, but I think it was actually my ex-husband. Weird. And because, you know, I don't care what I do. And then one day I'm with the cats and I'm doing the same thing I was accused of looking for attention with. And I'm like, okay, no, I'm not looking for attention. I'm doing it in front of the cats. This is me. So, you know, that's when I realized. So if somebody has an issue with me and I'm not guilty of it, then it really doesn't bother me, because they obviously have an issue that they need to tell me that. That's all. And that's fine. They can believe that. That was kind of a bit random, wasn't it, Shirley?
No, it wasn't random. No, Chicken Lady is allowed to go wherever she wants, but you just said that she wasn't part of it anymore.
No, she's not.
And that's trying to find that damn comment.
I'm pleased.
And Chicken Lady is not a part of channel. You know that. And I'm telling you, she was there. So yeah, she's allowed to go there. But yeah, so it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I think at one time, everybody in the community was accused of, you know, wanting to be the head honcho, to be the one to take him down. My personal opinion, sometimes that was credible, and most of the time it was not. As a community, it was mostly a community thing, and everybody kind of, you know, it didn't matter. It's just just get it done kind of thing.
I want to see it stop. I want to see it stop. I don't care who does it. You know, if I come across something, I will always give credit to the person who does it. You know, it doesn't matter. I've even gone as far as to say, which I will admit, if because of all the stuff that's happening now, it does something to him, then that's all we're looking for. I don't agree with it, but the ultimate thing, if that's what happens, no, I don't need I'm not into.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, if he got taken down or, whatever, it's not going to break my heart. It doesn't mean that I'm not going to find those people involved. That still as disgusting as I do right now. But that's my opinion. And who the fuck am I? I'm just one person on the internet. It doesn't really matter.
You might be one person on the internet to a lot of people, but you're important to me, sure.
Whoa, Video Reel, are you watching us, watching you, watching us, watching you?
Who? Pardon?
Sorry, it's somebody in chat.
Oh. Oh golly.
What's nasty?
Anyway, I'm so sorry to have. I had no intention. I was just going to come up and learn a few Shirley words and see if I could get really angry and then get back to whatever I was doing, which I can't remember what I was doing. And look at me, I'm sorry. But
No,
Rabid,
it's good to get your a different perspective on things. It really is.
Not always.
Well, it's always good.
It's a bit boring.
Not at all.
It's no, I thank you for letting me up. I'm sorry I stayed. I didn't mean to
say that. No, it's great that you came.
No, I didn't. Because I was thinking, shall I go up? And I thought, no, they won't want to hear from me. But then I got inspiration thinking Shirley could teach me how to do drama, because I don't get into the drama channels. I don't have anything to do. I have no idea what's happening. And when I was, even though I didn't know what was happening, I've been watching what has been said about you, Rabid. And like I said to you, it does. I'm hearing what if I didn't hear without hearing your side of it, I might have believed it.
That's the problem, right? That's why.
Pretty sad.
Yeah.
It's pretty sad. Same as a lot of people may believe anything about any of us. Unless we know who the real person is. And there's some smashing people on YouTube.
Of course.
I tell you. Yeah, right. I'm really lucky.
Well, let's try and think about doing a Madeleine McCann live at some point. I'd love to dive into that again.
Absolutely.
I hear what you're thinking now about it.
Yeah, I contacted Sonny Polton and she's invited me onto a breakfast show.
Oh, great.
Nice. But I've had computer issues and internet issues. But I think I can probably contact her back now and see about that. But yeah, I'd love to, Rabid.
Yeah.
I've got some new stuff. If you've got different people who are not fed up with me.
Well, that's the thing, because there will be a lot of people overseas, especially in the US, that won't know as much about this case.
Yeah.
So it's always
talk
about it.
Yeah, I've got some really different topics. Like I say, I've discovered something that is so important, it might make a difference in some way. It's not that it's going to solve the case, but because I've always believed that something happened to her earlier, and everybody around me, not everybody, but a lot say, no. It was Thursday. The coordinator of the case has admitted that it's very possible something did happen earlier in the week. And I thought that the Portuguese police would know this issue. What I discovered, and shocked me, when Gonzalo Amaral wrote his book, he wrote this, that it's possible that something happened earlier in the week, that she died earlier in the week. And Peter Mack, who's one of the best researchers going, he has spoken personally, I guess, to him and told him this is possible. But Gonzalo has said it's possible, but how do you explain how she was seen at the crash by all the nannies? And I've discovered, I had a light bulb moment, and after 10 years, I finally realized how they did it, how it was done. By looking at the records and stuff, not by guessing. seeing that two of the father and one of the friends who had a daughter very similar in age to Madeline and same similar colored hair. I'm looking at the crash records when I compiled them properly, and I'm seeing they appeared there at the same time. Even though they were off doing different things, they both arrived at the crash at the same time. And then I thought, hang on, maybe a friend sent his daughter in, and Jerry walked in with his daughter, with the friend's daughter, and all the nannies would think that that was Madeline. So a week later, when they're asked, they'd say, yeah, we saw the father. We saw him with his daughter, Madeline. When in actual fact, they were mistaken. And the little girl that was with him was his friend's daughter. It was a cunning plan. And and you could see by the records, this is not something that I've made up or whatever. You know, I always saw that there was one child in and one. It's, you know, whatever. Anyway, it's really important.
And you think it'd be easy for those working in the crash to mistake her for Maddie, right?
Oh yeah, none of them, apart from the nanny that was supposed to be looking after her. But then if Madeline only appeared Monday, Tuesday, I tell you, it's you kind of can't listen to me and believe me just by hearing me say this. You have to know the guts of it. And when you realize that the coordinator is now saying this is possible, it answers all the questions. I did that Q&A today. Just about every question could be answered because it looks like something happened earlier. If nothing had happened till the Thursday, all these questions are like, why were they all in the crash all day? Why didn't they ever go to breakfast? Why didn't they do this? Why didn't they do that? They can all be answered because Madeline, I don't believe, was around during the most of the week, you know. But that's, sorry.
And if
I've got to go.
and if that's true, it just adds a different layer to it, you know, because obviously that means that that Jerry and Kate were having to put on a performance, you know, when they were.
Oh, it was a performance from the start. This is what the PJ believe, that Madeline died in the apartment. This is official. Madeline died in the apartment. The parents hid her body, and they simulated the abduction. Now, the other issue is everybody complains because of Operation Grange being paid every year to search for Maddie. My belief is that because they can't look for the parents because then their jurisdiction is not to investigate the parents. They can't do that. It's Portuguese jurisdiction. But the Portuguese police cannot check on the fund, the Search for Maddie fund, where they've got millions of pounds. And if, in fact, something had happened to Maddie and she died, that fund would be a fraud. And it's only Britain that can sort that fund. So I believe that's why. I mean, lots of things fall into place. And you don't have to believe me, but everything I've worked for in 16 years is from the files. So,
well, hold that thought. I'll do a little bit of, research myself just to remind myself of a lot of the details. And yeah. I would love for you to come on and go through it.
Absolutely, I'd love to. Because last time we got a bit of this and a bit of that, didn't we?
Yeah, I had a few problems at that time. I was playing an interview, I think, from Australia, and it took down the live, but I didn't realise that it went back up. So I had two simultaneous lives going on at one point. It was a nightmare.
That was funny.
So yeah. It'd be great to go through the timeline.
I'd love to, and I'm so sorry if I had no intent. I've done this before. I've popped on to do something and I've ended up staying.
It's all good. It's all good. I love the long form conversations. That's what I'm all about.
Yeah. Well, I still think that what you had to go through, or what you're going through, still obviously is wrong. It's horrible.
Yeah, thanks, Lizzie. I mean,
and you're right to you're right to address it, I think, because there could be people like me who, as long as I think you address it in a way that's not attacking, that you're really just explain, then how can anybody be upset with you?
Yeah, I mean, there's also a bit of humor comes into it as well.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Can't help that, but
You think there kind of has to be.
Right.
Especially when there's feet involved.
Well, exactly. If you can't laugh at stuff like that, then you've got problems.
No. You're a good bloke. I like you.
And,
that's regardless of what I'm hearing about you. So, but then I like show too. But that's regardless of whatever I hear about.
All right, guys. Well, I'm going to wrap up. Up. It's been a long one. I didn't even know.
Thank you, and sorry about that.
Oh no, you're grand.
Yeah, you have to learn to chuck me out because I get. I really do. So, okie doke. I'm going to go first. Bye bye, Shil. Bye bye, Rabid. Give me time. Bye. Studio. Bye bye, everyone. And sorry if you don't believe me, but I can't help it. Okie doke.
You're all good. You're all good.
Okay. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
All right. Thanks again, Cheryl.
Yeah. No problem.
A long one.
That was I had to tune out for most of it. I'm sure you heard my house sounded like chaos.
Yeah, well, I think some things just have to be said. Thanks everyone, as usual. I will be back on hopefully next week. I think Natasha's gone live, so I'm gonna maybe pop over there and see what she's talking about. All right, guys, good night, and see you soon. Take care.
Bye.